and we're rolling.
Awesome. You want to clap?
Yeah, clap. Take one.
You know, I never understood that as a kid till I got older, and I was like, oh, it's to sync the audio to the video.
Right.
Because it's not together. And I was like, okay. Because you can see it. You can see a clap
Yeah.
in the audio.
Yeah, the transient, like the waveform.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see the clap. So thanks for coming by, man. This is really cool.
Yeah, man.
Finally got to meet up, even though you're moving soon.
Yeah.
It's my fault, mostly, probably.
2 weeks. Well, I'm not like I'm hardly the one that like ever like reaches out first. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
And I was doing so much shit all the time. I was just always like, except for like Sundays, and even Sundays, it was like, oh, now, you know, it's the time to spend with the, you know, the family and stuff. But every other minute of every other day, I was either somewhere or had to be somewhere.
Yeah, you did a lot, man. You did a lot during your time here, I noticed. Just on Facebook posts and stuff.
Yeah.
Just seeing you from a social distance.
Yeah, social distance.
Yeah.
I tried to do as much as I could. I was like, it's weird to be in a town where you know nobody, because you kind of get to start over. Is that me? Santa Teresa? I don't know who that is.
Potential spam.
Potential spam. Well, it's from New Mexico. Usually it's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, starting from like knowing nobody, I had no like, you know how sometimes you don't want to post something because you're scared someone you know might see it and think it's lame or something like that sometimes.
For sure.
Or do something. Like when I first got here, I did like comedy music where I would like, you ever heard of Mark Rebier?
Probably.
He kind of like, he has a looper and a piano and he just makes up songs. Like he just go there.
I'm sure I've seen him.
Just make it up. So like I started doing that in Mississippi and I always felt weird because it'd be like, oh, there's that guy I know and I'm singing. Like the songs were wild. Like it always started off super tame. They'd be like, make a song about getting fat or something. And then it got to like deep stuff.
It gets a little raunchy here and there.
Really raunchy. And so like but when I got here, I was like, I'm only going to be here for 3 months is what I thought. And I was like, well, I'm just going to get out there and do it. Cause like everybody I saw was like, I will never see you ever again in my entire life.
Yes.
And I went hard on it, you know, and then like I stopped doing it once I started getting to the point where I saw people I knew at Walmart, you know?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, I got a job now.
Yeah. Small town reputation.
Yeah,
Someone might recognize me.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a cool thing when I first got here was not knowing anybody.
Just a fresh start. I've thought about that too. Like if you move somewhere, you could just be anybody.
You can do whatever you want.
Because like here, it's like, oh, people know you're that guy or this, or I know you've him from here or there. But you go somewhere else and they're like, nobody knows you.
And nobody knows if I'm really good or if I suck, you know, or if I've been doing it for years. And nobody knows. And like back home, you know, I grew up there. So I knew every musician. I say I know, but I know who they are. I knew everybody. I went to high school with everybody, you know. So like you already have like a reputation built in. So like if you, I don't know, coming here was neat for the first, well, I mean, still the whole time I don't, you know, but like especially the first 3 months or 6 months or so, I was just like, I'll just do whatever I want. I don't know anybody.
Why not take some chances?
Yeah, I don't know anybody. I don't know if that's like a weird thing, but
no, it's not, because you've already had like experience playing out and making music and doing all this stuff, and it's not like you were. You had some live performance experience and stuff, so you weren't completely new. You were just in a new place.
It was just a new
You
place.
can do your thing, but like just kind of as a stranger now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was, you know, I did a lot of, especially with the comedy thing, I did a lot of prep work. Like I would live stream once a week, like 2 or 3 hours. Just, you know, some people would be on there, but like I had gotten it down to the point where like I was confident. And I'm not saying it was good, but I was confident that I could do what I was trying to do every time I went out, and I wasn't gonna like choke or something like that. So
for sure.
So I was just like, I'm here.
Here we
I'm
are
in New Mexico. I've never been to New Mexico ever.
Was it a military thing?
My wife is a nurse practitioner.
That's right.
And we were traveling. And we were supposed to be here 3 months. And they liked her so much, they were like, can you stay another 3 months? And then we were like, okay. And then they were like, will you stay for 3 years? And we were like, no.
3 years.
We're like, no, absolutely not. We're not going to stay for 3 years. And then they made us an offer we couldn't refuse.
Godfather status.
Yeah. I was like, well, it was more like, I was like, well, tell them something crazy. I was like, tell them something crazy. Like, what would we actually stay for? And she was like, okay, I'm going to tell them this, this, this. She told them, and they're like, yes.
Here's my terms.
And we'll pay you to move here. We'll pay for your moving. We're like,
wow.
What are you going to do? You know?
That's cool on
Can't
her
say
behalf
no.
to just have a position that's that valued where
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, damn, like, cool, that's got to be a good booster.
Well, she's just really, yeah, I can brag about my wife. She's really good at what she does. Like, she's not like, I'm just doing this because she loves doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's one of those like type A personalities where she's just like writing everything out. Everything's got to be like perfect. And like, she's like, well, I don't know if I can say it, but like she just goes above and beyond for what some doctors or nurse practitioners won't do.
Right.
Even if they're like, maybe not spend so much time. She's like, no, I'm going to make sure this patient
Thorough, yeah.
is taken care of. And the patients liked her, the patients were like giving good reviews, and then the hospital's like,
cool, man.
that's good. Yeah.
So
yeah.
she gave some terms and they went for it.
Yeah, we were just like, we don't want to. Not saying I don't like Alamogordo, but like we were supposed to go to Maine next, or Oregon,
Gotcha.
and then to Maine, and then we are going to try to do like Hawaii. We were going to do it till my son started like school, like kindergarten. So we were going to do that for a couple years and stayed here.
Stayed here. So has it been the full 3 years?
It ended up being. We're actually supposed to stay till December.
Gotcha.
And it's with the way everything worked with like my son's school and stuff, we didn't want to have his school in the middle of the year. So I was going to go back and just stay there, go ahead and move into the house and everything. And then she was going to stay here till the end of her contract.
Going back to Mississippi?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they ended up letting her get out with not a lot of like crazy penalties. So we're just going to move back.
Dipping out.
And the worst part about it is I was like, I got a year left and I want to do all the stuff that I wanted to do here in town. Cause I had like all these big grand ideas of what I could do, in town. And I had everything planned out. I was going to do like start an open mic at this place. I talked to a guy. I wanted to play a song and record a video with every musician in town. And I'd like had them all lined up. I had everybody written down that I wanted to ask. And like I even made a post. I was like, I'm going to start having people play out in front of my store. Like if you want to play, come play out in front of my shop. All kinds of stuff I was going to do. And then that's when like the next week it was like, by the way, we're leaving early. And I was like, oh, I don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to play with cause I like all kinds of music. I've never been one to
Stick to a genre.
in
your own
'cause
creativity.
yeah, kind of sometimes I get like the vibe that sometimes people are like country music is the only good music. Everything else is noise. Metal music is the only good music. Pop music is lame. Pop music is the only real music because that's the only thing I can hear and dance to. And metal music is, and
Cookie Monster. Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed the rappers and metal guys are the same people.
On opposite camps.
And they say the same thing. They're both making kind of the same kind of music. I wanted to do like, there's like some older guys that would come into my shop and they would be like, I've just played old Merle Haggard bluegrass. And I'm like, I don't know how to play that music, but I would love to sit down and play a song. Like I'll learn a song and play it.
Yeah.
I'll do a rap song with a rapper. I'll go out and do the thrash stuff.
Sure.
I'll do all that. Like I wanted to do something with everybody,
Yeah.
And kind of, help them have a video out too. If they
I feel you. I've wanted to do that too, in similar ways. Like at least do, like we did that little shred collab, but I wanted to do like, just whoever's good at something, like whatever lends to their strengths, where you're like, well, let's do a track together and might feature a few different people, and you're like, well, he's obviously going to be the drummer, you know, or whatever, and this guy plays bass, and then like this would be an unlikely band. It wouldn't be a band, but we could do a track and make
just
a video.
do a track, yeah. And
I want to do the same thing.
No commitment. You don't have to like commit to practice every Thursday or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. Like I feel like, kind of when I started, there's a kind of like a new trend. I don't want to say it's a trend, but like Post Malone was kind of just like, he came out and he was just like, some people hate that he changes genres, but he's kind of like, yeah, I'll be on this song with you, like whatever it is. And like, then I started realizing like, there's a bunch of metal music, there's a bunch of pop music, but whenever you have a pop and a metal song, then you're like, that's cool as hell. Like,
it is cool.
Or like you mix a bluegrass with like a rapper. Like, have you ever seen a bluegrass band with a guy rapping over it? No, but if you do it well, it's probably going to be really cool. And I was like, that's what I like. Like, I like seeing the mix of music and new stuff.
Yeah, it is cool. I'm with that. Like Post is a good example. Like,
yeah, he's just like, whatever.
Keeps doing, like, he comes out with another one with another artist, and he's featured on this, or he features somebody else, and you're like, it's cool.
Yeah.
And every one of them is always good.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. He's got one of those ears, you know, or like just like some people just have like a melody in their like brain that they can just like
figure it out,
put it out, and it sounds good. It's easy to listen to, and you know, I don't know if he's writing songs that'll like change the world. You know, it's not like Imagine by John Lennon, but
sure.
But it did, you know, each one's a banger.
Yeah,
he don't really release bad music.
No, and it's fun, and he'll be remembered. You know, he's gonna be somebody for a long time.
And he's like 28 or something.
God damn, I know he's young. He's young. He's like, somebody I knew him. They went to school in Texas with him or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. We have a band back home called MS Paint, and it's wild music. It's like a synthesizer and a bass guitar and a drummer, and this singer, and he's wild looking, like crazy hair. But they were playing somewhere, and Post Malone was just in the audience, and like so these guys, like I've known the drummer for like almost my whole life, you know, and I just see him with a picture of Post Malone, and I was like, what the fuck? And then Post Malone was on like the Rogan podcast. It was like, yeah, this band called MS Paint. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Okay.
Yeah, like he mentions their band.
I think I watched that episode. So
yeah, if you watch it again, he'll mention MS Paint, and that's the band from where I lived. And the guy I knew, it was wild. I was like, what's going on, man? But they got like a record deal and play in England and
sick
shit like that. But it's unique music, you know. Like you hear them and you go, oh, that's different. That's a new thing. That's a new style or something.
That's what we were kind of talking about the other day. Like, what'll be the next new thing? Like, or we like alluded to it a little bit. Like, if you stifled those guys who were playing the wrong notes.
Yeah. And they're playing like right next to each other, and it's like that could have been the next, you know,
like
grunge
you were
era.
just trying to help the production because you're like you're playing a different note than you're playing, and you were just trying to help them, but they might have misunderstood it. But if you're like, what if they were intentionally doing that? Like playing like dissonant notes together, and you're like, that's the next wave of music.
Yeah. And I just stomped all over it, trying to do what I thought was right, you know? That's funny.
Yeah. Hey man, you gotta do what you can to help people.
I don't know what the next thing could be. I know I kind of feel like we're in a rut. Music. Well, I kind of, you know, and you know how like the 80s came out and it was like super fresh because like everything was on a computer and like perfect
synthesizers and
like drum machines and
drum machines,
stuff like that. And we had that kind of vibe for a while, and it was like good. I love 80s music, especially like
me too.
Like Tears for Fears kind of stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's just like cool music, you know. They're using like computers and a lot of reverb and stuff, you know. And I feel like kind of whenever the computers and cell phones came up, we're kind of like in that 80s kind of style again, where like people are using fake guitars, fake drum sets, but they sound amazing. Like you can say that sounds too produced, but that's just saying it sounds too good. Like it's too good.
Yeah.
There's no mistakes, but it's too perfect. Right. That's not a human that did it, but half the time you can't tell. But maybe we're in that phase where we're kind of like getting tired of that, and we want to hear a drum with one mic on it, and somebody
Yeah.
screaming and kind of missing a note a little bit.
I know the lo-fi and the indie.
Yeah.
Indie music and lo-fi indie, or just lo-fi. The kids call it lo-fi.
Lo-fi?
I said lo-fi one time at school, and they're like, "You mean lo-fi?" And I was like, "No, it's actually lo-fi."
Yeah. Low fidelity. Yeah.
I'm like, we're both wrong. It's not lo-fi or lo-fi. It's lo-fi.
It's lo-fi.
I'm like, yeah, it's like high fidelity, low fidelity.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the point stands though. Like, yeah, it's like, I like it because I do art at school, right? Teach art, and you kind of need middle of the road music that's not boring,
Yeah.
but not too offensive. Like just something that supports like creativity and
Yeah.
school appropriate. And I always land on indie stations because they just play the weird, obscure
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, a lot of it sounds like lo-fi.
Lo-fi.
Lo-fi production, and yeah, like the drum kit's like not less than perfect, and the vocals aren't perfectly in tune, and
Yeah.
the guitars are just, I don't know, but there's
Real
something
fuzzy and stuff like that.
there's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
cool about it, or like what do they call it, shoegaze?
Shoegaze? Yeah. That's
Shit tons of pedals and
just like, how many pedals can I put on here? And let's put the reverb first in the chain and just
yeah.
see what happens.
Slam the front of the amp
Yeah.
with delay.
Beep, beep, beep. You know, speaking of like music while doing things, I've always like, even my wife, she'll like put on music when she's like studying or something. I can't listen to music while I'm doing anything because I'll listen to it. Like in school, I used to be like, well, I was sitting in the office, in the library, and I'd put music in to like study and
zone in.
and I would just listen to the music and I couldn't focus on anything unless it's like,
Straight classical or something.
well, I mean,
Ambient forest sounds.
well, if it's like like if I'm mowing the yard or some kind of like
Cleaning or
just like
chore.
where I'm not thinking or trying to like do anything, I can't. I can listen to music, but otherwise, I'm like, I gotta be dead silent, because I'll just be like,
Where's that melody line going?
"What's that doing? That
Yeah.
sounds cool. I've never heard this before." So
I know what you mean.
but yeah,
So like the studio
Yeah.
and coming to Alamo, and I mean, like you've done a lot. It's like, where do we even start? But so for those of you guys who don't know, the listeners, all those loyal subscribers,
800,000
yeah,
live right now.
Bobby's the guy that had the studio in the Granada Center.
Yes.
And how long was the shop open?
I opened in like officially in March of 23. So that was like
Almost just over 2 years.
over 2 years. And then that was cool. That was one of my like, it was one of those like I want to say like a dream job, because I never like wanted to have a music studio, I mean a music store studio kind of thing, like but I've always like thought like it would be cool if that was like a thing I could do, is work at a music store, but it's always kind of been like, that'll never work, it's not going to work. Music stores are kind of dead with Amazon, and if you work at a music store, it's like Guitar Center, and they just pay you shit, and
You're just in retail. You're
just
not
in-
at a music store. You're just
Yeah.
a retail guy.
so I kind of, I don't want to say I fell into it. I was gonna just have a studio and record people around here, because I got here and like not a lot of people had music out, So that's how it kind of started. And then I was like, well, there's a pegboard
Yeah.
in the place, and I was like,
Throw some strings on there.
strings? There's no strings in town. Everybody needs strings. Maybe they'll get theirs off Amazon, but if they got a show, they need some strings. I was like, well, I'll keep some sticks. And then I was like, well, and I talked to, there's a guy down in, I called some of the music stores in Cruces just to see like, what's up? Like, what kind of, like,
What's the scene? What are people
How's it-
buying? What's the demand?
how's
or
it
the-
work? And the guy from Mesilla Valley, his name is Sid. He was like, he's like, yeah, man, there hasn't been a music store up there in a while. And he was like, come down and I'll let you just I'll get some stuff out of my shop. Like I paid for it, but he let me get it at like
Somewhat wholesale.
yeah, like kind of what he paid for it.
Nice. Just passed on the wholesale.
Yeah, so I was like, and because it's a pretty big shop, Mesilla.
Like Valley Pro Music or something.
It's down there.
Or
Like,
Hubbard's.
it's called Mesilla Valley. It might be Pro, but it's right across from a Sonic.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like, he was like, these things sell, and he taught me like he was like, you're gonna have a bunch of picks. He's like, put a little pick jar out and say 2 for $1, and just anytime you find a little shitty pick, throw it in the jar, sell them 2 for $1, add in the tax, so it's like $1 bill. And
Yeah.
Everybody bought picks out of that thing. It was like, I was like,
Nice.
dude, great idea.
Yeah.
He had another one. I never did it. He said, he's like, a good thing is to put little kids' instruments like up by the desk. He's like, because the kids will be in there bored when you're in there buying stuff, and the parents will be like, just get one.
Yeah.
Get a tambourine, get a flute, get a little
maraca,
something.
yeah.
And he had them sitting there, and he was like, those sell, you know. And he kind of just like,
Gave you the true insider.
yeah, just, you know, a little enough to get me kind of started. So I bought like $600 worth of stuff, you know, and I was like, shit, that's a lot of money to just hope I sell back, because it was like some stuff I wasn't ever going to use, like band books.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, I did, you know, started doing that, and what it turned into was a place where I just like honestly what I wanted to do was meet friends through it, meet people through it, and just be able to sit around and talk about music. But it turned into like a place where like I met a lot of people, and just got to talk about, you know, it's even more than music, like what they did with their lives. I met a lot of like older guys that had like really cool stories and stuff like that, you know, and they're just like, you get to see musicians from all ages, because I'm usually someone around our age.
For sure.
You know, a musician, that's who I've talked to, so we have the same perspectives. But
Yeah.
you run into a guy that's 80,
He's got a whole different.
and he's got a whole different perspective. He's like, yeah, we had Gibsons, and we sold them all because nobody wanted them. We wanted an
man.
Ibanez. Or we wanted,
Imagine that, yeah.
Or like how they ended up stopping, or why they're still playing, you know. I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked, if, you know, like, I could have done that. I could have done that like for the rest of my life, just sitting in the music store and just
Shooting the shit with
shooting the
people.
shit and
Yeah.
no,
Time slips away. Even those few times I've come by, it's like, I'm like, all right, man, I think I'm going to take off, let you get to your day. And then like 15, 20 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I should probably get going.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just,
yeah.
It just like, it's so natural to just sit there and vibe, you know?
And usually I'm a very, I guess I would say shy. I'm not a very like social, outgoing socially. Like if you were to see me at Walmart, I wouldn't like probably talk much. But for some reason, being in the shop, like people would leave, and I'd be like, who is this guy? Like me, like talking about
Yeah.
myself. Like, who is this guy that's like, I just like having a conversation with somebody that I don't like, I barely know, but I talked to him for 30 minutes about all kinds of stuff. I just felt natural. It felt like I was in my natural habitat in there. And
Yeah.
it was badass, because, you know, most of the time in life I feel like I don't know shit about football.
Yeah.
I don't know what to talk about football. But if somebody goes, hey, I got a guitar with I think it says Gibson on it, I'm like, dude, let me tell you about Gibson. You don't know, you know. And then
Yeah.
I'll just talk for an hour.
I know. It's like when I'd come through to your place, we'd be talking about gear. And then like when you came over here tonight, you know, it's the first time you've been over here. And it's just like, I was just telling you a little bit about my setup and things. And it's like, it seems like we could just talk and talk and
Dude,
talk.
I could
about
talk forever. Yeah.
gear, drum sets, fucking mic pre's and microphones and studio monitors, or how do you record this, or like
Yeah.
we were talking about amps and cabinet sims and
All those-
low active real load boxes and
Mm-hmm.
all that shit, and just go on and on and on.
That's like, there's something about music gear, like it's almost like a different part of music. There's playing music, and then there's like gear.
I didn't really think of it like that, but that's so true.
Yeah, like
It's so true.
it's almost like sometimes like I like looking at gear and moving and setting up gear and like plugging things in more than actually playing the gear itself.
I did that for a long time. I'm glad you brought that up, because I would set all my shit up in like one space, and then like I'd get it all dialed in and all perfect, and then like next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I gotta repurpose this room, so I'm gonna end up moving all the stuff in the
Yeah.
other room,
Uh-huh.
set it up differently, and I got to the point where I kept doing that. I kept setting shit up and not even hardly making anything with it, and
Yeah.
I finally told myself when I moved into this room with it, I was like, You're gonna set it all up and actually make music with it that way, because the goal is to go into the room and then turn the stuff on and get to work instantly.
Yeah.
You know, everyone says that. Like, I just want to turn on the thing and
be ready to go.
Be ready to go. But instead of being like, why isn't my guitar making sound? Oh shit, I forgot to plug in the thing. Or like the button on the board is muted, or
it's like the guitar's halfway plugged in.
It's always something, you know. But I tried to get to the point where it's dialed in, where I'm like, I can, you know, the one room setup at least for just a solo guy, you know, just track a guitar, jump behind the kit for a second, put like a beat to it, and
that's all you need in 2025. It used to be so different. You needed all this stuff, and nowadays it's just like, hey, I need some drum mics, and they're like, well, you got $59. Like, are they the best mics in the world? But are they good enough? Yeah, they're good, and especially like plugins, you just EQ it or whatever, you know. Like, there's so much. It's so easy now. Like, I mean, it
comes down to what you know too. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you know a little bit about, like, say, EQ and compression and just some tricks, you can make something sound good with cheap stuff, and you don't need all the fancy stuff, like you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of old stuff didn't sound good.
No.
I mean, honestly, like the Beatles. It might get some flack, but it didn't sound as good as the music does. Maybe it's a great song. That's why they were the Beatles. They were like making great music, but the albums and stuff themselves weren't as high quality as.
They just literally weren't.
Yeah,
it was like 4-track and then
like
overdubs and
like a drum set's on the left side and the bass is on the right, and like the vocals in one ear. You know, they're like trying to figure out stereo.
Trying to squash as much as they can with the 4-track.
And like nowadays, like it's kind of like the whole like they flew to the moon with less power than your iPhone or whatever. It's like that's what we are. Like the Beatles made. If the Beatles had this room, you know what I'm saying?
What would they have done?
Yeah, like this room is like light years ahead of what they were using. I guess you could argue and say, well, they had like big analog gear and stuff like that.
Big, nice, warm mic pre's and all these freaking diodes and whatever.
Yeah.
Freaking electronical components and
that
whatever. But still, and they might have had the magic room somewhere and the right producer or something. But really, what they had was great songs and the delivery, and they captured it and
taking your time to make it the right way and stuff like that.
But see, they didn't have a million tries. The undo button. I mean, how many times I use the undo button? I'll be playing a guitar riff and I'm like, if I had to like nail it on tape, I would be fucking screwed, man. Because sometimes I hit it right, but like a lot of times it's just undo, redo, undo. Like, well, takes me a shitload of tries to get the.
If you think about, like they could, especially when in their bigger days, they could just have a dude in the studio that they paid a living wage to take a tape off and put a new tape on, and they were like, "We've got a warehouse full of tape." So like an undo button, but to everybody else, like a band that had no money, they spent all their money, $5,000 in 1970. They were like, "All right, guys, when we hit record, we're all playing at the same time, and that's it.
Yeah,
no mixing. It's what comes out at the end. They might master it or something, but that's it." So
they were really good players.
Yeah, because they had to.
You had to be well rehearsed. And now, if I was going into it with that philosophy, I would do my homework and
this costs $10,000
and be like, I gotta step up my playing before I ever even go near the studio. But in my studio, it's like I know I can. It's like having a safety net. You can fall.
Oh yeah.
But if there's no safety net, you're like, I'm not gonna fall. Because you're like, I can't. I'll die.
That's what I wanted. Like what I kind of realized I wanted to do with the studio. I realized everybody's got everybody can kind of record now. Like even if you don't really know what you're doing, there's GarageBand on your phone free. If you have an iPhone, you have a recording studio more advanced than something 20 years ago in your pocket. But I thought about doing I don't know if did we talk about this while I was talking about demos?
Kind of
a demo, like a studio for demos. And
that's a great idea.
So it's going to be cheap, it's going to be quick, but whenever you listen to it,
that's what she said.
That's what she said.
Everyone was thinking it. Y'all were thinking it.
You pervs. But it's quick.
It's gonna be cheap. It's gonna be quick.
I'll take what I can get for $20. but then like they can go back and listen to it and hear everything. And I've noticed like a lot of the times like bands practicing with a PA, you have no idea what's actually going on. It's just like a loud you can kind of hear the drums playing, but like you don't really know what you're playing, you know. And then you get into the studio and you're like, oh guys, we are not on track here. So like, you know, something real cheap, come in, y'all play it, and you can move shit around now. We'll just move it around. This is what it should sound like. Take this home, listen to it. Then when you're ready to go to a big boy studio, you know how to play the song right, and you can listen what you sound like with harmonies. You ever like hear yourself with a harmony, you go, oh shit, I can sing less vibrantly or whatever and just have a harmony. Or what if I had delay here, you know, that kind of stuff you don't hear till you've paid $5,000 for a big studio, you know, track.
It would serve as a benefit to the musician or artist to see themselves from like a bird's eye view too, in a way where they're like, oh, I've never seen it. They're just seeing it through their own eyes. But if you get like a nice, somewhat decent, you know, kind of
just a basic mix,
minimal mix back, and you're like, oh, like that's what it could. It always changes your perspective when you, like all my songs. I haven't even done that many songs. I have a bunch of like scratch tracks that are just unreleased, you know, and stuff.
Yeah, release them.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not even full though. I mean, they need to be turned. They're just skeletons, you know, pieces. So if I put the pieces together, they would be worthy of putting out. But I have a couple out. But then the ones that I've done never turn out like what I thought.
Yeah.
Like it's always just like, that's interesting. Like it goes a different direction because I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, it's like one thing when you're just the guy playing the part or whatever, but mixing it and making the whole thing, it just turns out just different, you know.
It turns out in a lot of singers, and like even like before, like I've kind of like been into the recording thing for a long time, but like a lot of singers don't even know what their voice sounds like. So like they've never heard themselves back in any kind of capacity. They might have heard like a cell phone video of like a loud PA and them singing over. They've never heard themselves with a compressor on their voice. Like, and they might, a thing that I kind of learned is I used to sing like loud because I thought like that's how you hit a high note. And I realized if I sing in my talking voice, I sound better.
Yeah.
And I had to like hear myself sing that way and go, oh shit, what? Like, that's why I sound like a little whiny bitch or whatever.
Because you're just belting it out too high
the whole time.
And then like, yeah, your range is kind of, it's like, it's hard to keep your range when you're going full speed.
But yeah, you can keep like your range down a little bit and still sound like a high note, you know, like sound like you're singing in the range you want to be if you kind of sing in your speaking voice. Like I kind of sing, I'll sing higher in like dramatic parts, but I sing around here, like, you know, about here.
Yeah, right in there.
About right here, you know, like I'm kind of, hey, you over there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's where I kind of sing now. And like I can sing 3 hours now. I used to like wonder how the fuck can you sing in a cover band for a 4-hour set with a couple breaks? And well, if you're
managing it.
Yeah. Singing in a speaking voice.
It's got to be sustainable, yeah, and train. You got to train obviously too, but yeah, you don't have to go full throttle the whole time. You're just gonna burn out,
dude. Here's another controversial topic, and if I'm talking too much, just
no,
be like, okay.
That's why we're here, man. Yeah.
A controversial topic is people hate autotune, especially rock musicians. They hate it. They're like, that's a computer, and that's fine. I get it. I get the hate because pop music kind of took it and turned it into like a shit show. But to be honest with you, Metallica used it on their albums. You know, like even their live stuff, they had pitch correction. But me singing with it, especially when I was doing my comedy thing, because like I was just making shit up. I just turned on autotune. It was hip hop kind of style beats that I was singing over. Autotune was fine. But after singing with autotune and hearing it in my head, like I use in-ears when I play, it's made me a better singer because I can hear what the notes sound where they're supposed to be, like, because it was kind of hard sometimes to hear, like if you go you know, like if you're in a loud room and you're not hearing that, you'll just go
yeah,
and you think you hit it, but when you put auto tune on, you'll hear the pop, and the pop means you sang it bad. So the
Okay.
goal became how low can I set the thresholds and not hear a pop?
Okay.
You know, you know what I'm saying, when it goes like,
Yeah.
like what
Ah!
we're
it's like it's a weird sound. Yeah.
it's like a weird little pop sound. So if you can set it to where you're singing, and when you hear that pop, you go, I'm not singing.
Do you
this
mean
right.
pop like pop music?
No, no,
Okay.
oh, no.
For one second, I
Okay.
was like, that's not what I thought at
Okay.
first. I thought of an actual pop, like a pop.
I
But it's kind of funny.
I've
After a
just-
second, I was like, did you hear the pop?
no. You hear that pop? No, that's like a Pepsi commercial. You hear that pop? The war. It's like a warble in it where it doesn't know what note to go to.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an artifact. It's
Yeah.
like it's not natural.
It's what like the T-Pain effect sound is. Like T-Pain sounds like that is because it's kind of like jumping in between notes or something
to
like
try
that.
to correct it. Yeah.
And so what that's done to me is like singing with that so much that when you hear it, it's made me a better singer without it, because now I know what it is supposed to sound like in a technical, like how a robot would sing it perfectly. And then you can start singing, like the goal is to sing without making that pop. And I say pop, but that warble. And this might not make any sense, but before I started using it and then after me not using it, I'm a better singer because I know where those notes are now. I
It
can
makes
hear 'em.
perfect sense. I mean, there's so many things that are like parallels to it where like you use a tool that's like, oh, it's cheating or whatever, but it's not, because it's helping you learn to get better. And then once you don't have that same tool anymore, you don't really even need the tool because you realize why the tool was ever there.
Yeah. Like training wheels or
It's-
something?
Yeah, like bumpers on the bowling thing or the.
Yeah.
I even think about like drawing with tracing paper and stuff. Like a lot of the kids, I start them out with transfer paper or like ghetto, like graphite the back, and then transfer it like a stamp, like a carbon copy.
Yeah.
But it helps get them in the ballpark of like the portrait or the image they're drawing, and they're like, whoa, like they're like, it came out good, and then they can focus on like shading and like hatching or whatever the technique is we're using.
Yeah.
And they get better at it. They get better at the whole thing, the whole concept of art, and their self-esteem goes up and everything. And then later
yeah.
on, like I'll be like, all right, let's try it without tracing. Like this kid, he was doing a lot of skulls,
Yeah.
and like by the end of the year, he could draw a skull like on his own,
Yeah.
like nice.
Just
And I was like,
freehand.
yeah. And he used to, but it all started from kind of tracing. So it's kind of like autotune is like,
Yeah, that's right. Because I can't sing. You know,
it can help you learn how to sing. Where you're like, I didn't know how to sing. I was relying kind of on that to help me get me there. But
Yeah.
now you take it away, and you're like, it just makes sense what you're saying.
It's kind of like I guess with the bowling thing, if you never get to knock down any pins, you're gonna stop playing.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're so bad at bowling, you always get a gutter ball. You never get a chance to like, oh, it turned a little bit before it went off. Oh, you know, because you got to curve a bowling ball or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
It's like it turned a little bit, but then went too much. So you don't even ever get any of this stuff because you're always, you know,
Straight to the gutter. Yeah.
Straight to the-
self-esteem goes down the gutter.
And that's just something I noticed, you know, that it did that. And like, I don't like the sound of like an auto-tune thing, but I mean, like it did help me like hear my voice better and hear what was wrong instead of me just going, that just sounds all bad. Like,
Yeah.
you could be like, that sounded really good. This part sounded really good. And then that one did. And I noticed like, as I started singing like songs I've sang for years and years, I just knew. I didn't have to think about, I didn't hear as much like warble or whatever in those songs. And I would hear it more in a song I learned yesterday.
Okay.
And that was because I didn't know how to sing it. My voice was not been trained to sing that song, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and it got me out of, you know, to sing more. So I sang more. I don't know. Maybe that helped. I don't know. I don't.
I would say autotune did its job.
It did. It did it.
I think it like helped you.
I think it did. I think it was a good thing. But I mean, it's all over the fucking.
And you can use it as an effect too, like the T-Pain thing.
Yeah.
Like you can use it as an effect, or you can use it as a tool. And those metal guy purists that are like, yeah, fuck auto-tune or whatever, like you don't have to use it,
Don't have to use it.
you know? You can pitch correct. Like you said, a lot of them pros do it behind the scenes, or the producer will do it, or
They do, and they just don't tell them.
the engineers. Yeah,
It's like-
they don't want them to be like looking like they have a booger on their face, like
Yeah.
on their record, you know.
Dude,
But,
you can
and
go,
then some guys do it for real, you know, and all combination of all in between.
and I think like with recording and making music is, I hate the I don't want to say gatekeeping, but like the aspect of like, this is how you make a song, and you can't do it like this. And some people have different like versions of, and I'll do it. I'll be like, dude, Sabrina Carpenter, what the fuck are you doing? You know, but it's a good song, but I feel like it's, you know, but like the gatekeeping sometimes, especially me growing up, I'm a like it was called hardcore music back in the day, which was like Norma Jean. There's a lot of Christian stuff like 2004 and stuff, but the heaviest shit possible is what I grew up on. And it kind of like, if you sang a little too like sweet, it was like, what are you doing? Are you like some little like pussy? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that kind of got ingrained in me early. It's like, oh, you're drumming, but you're not, your bass isn't as fat. You know, it's like just like these kind of rules that kind of was like, well, sometimes I like singing about a pretty girl I like.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to just talk about Satan, you know, and like burning the house down and, you know, but I love that too, you know.
Yeah.
But I felt like, and then you'll go to sometimes I'd go to like acoustic guys, and they'd be like, that's too like that's such a screaming heavy music, you know, and I'd be like, well, shit.
Where do I
What
go?
am I supposed to do?
Where the hell do I fit in?
Like, who's right? Who's right? Is it the pop people that, you know, they're making the most money, right?
Yeah, and then let's define pop. Like, what is it? I guess it's something that your average person is. It's like easy listening. It's consumable. It repeats. It's kind of like ABC.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that typical kind of arrangement.
Yeah, like
It's not too long of a song.
Yeah.
Like the whole duration of the song isn't too long, because that's another thing too, is attention spans.
Yeah.
Like when someone won't let the damn song play. You're
Yeah.
like, you know, when you're like, all right, what you want to listen to? And like, you find, they asked you, like, put a song on, and then like
Yeah.
you find one, and then they skip it, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, not even before the thing happened, you know. But
I was waiting for the thing.
attention spans though. But
I've heard-
there's got to be something to kind of keep, like, I guess pop music. Like, what is pop music? You know.
I would just like top 40 clean. You're not going to see a lot of overly, well, shit, I'd say overly like vulgar stuff, but Sabrina Carpenter is pretty vulgar.
Yeah, there's some that push it now, because the shock value of society is like, everyone's used to watching these fucked up shows.
Yeah.
Like everyone watches the most brutal,
Yeah, now they're
crazy stuff.
They're like, it's like a little pretty blonde girl, and she's like, shit on my face, and you're like, that's this new song. That's the only thing that gives me any joy anymore. I've heard her talk about sex 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But you know, I've heard like that they're even going to start doing like I don't know, like, how do you even predict this? But like songs will even start getting shorter, because it's always been 3 minutes. A song is 3 to 4 minutes. A long song is 5 minutes. A short song is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. But like songs will just start coming out at 1 minute for like a TikTok video.
Yeah.
You imagine that? Like, if like that's how long a song is now. It's like a verse, chorus, and it's something else. I don't know.
That's like one of the last songs that I actually made. It's like the only one on my channel where it's like me playing the different parts, and it's like a minute long.
A minute long. See, you're ahead of the game.
It came out of nowhere, but I was like, I'm just gonna do like a 1 minute song.
That's it, dude. You're ahead of the game.
And it kind of worked in a way. Like, it's one of the few songs where I'm like, the mix is not great at all, but like I like the song though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stoked on that one, because it's just the content I felt like it was good. But
Make it a minute, man.
1 minute songs, man. 1 minute songs.
I saw that one. Did you sing on that one?
Yeah.
You sang on that one? That was a while back.
The mix is shit, but it sounds good on the phone, because I turned the low end way up so you could hear the bass and stuff on the
Okay.
phone. But if we listen to it like in here, it'd probably be like just all low end. Like,
You know,
the mix probably sucked.
the trick to that, and dude, I've been trying to find a software application or something that does it. Waves has something, but it's online. It sucks. And like the Slate emulation stuff doesn't work, but I want to have my phone like sitting on top of my computer where my speakers would be, like this, like a person would be when they're listening to your song on the internet. Like
Yeah.
if they, because most people don't go on their computer and turn on their studio monitors and listen to your song. It's
No.
just swiping through and they go, oh, Pat's got a new thing on, and they'll play it on the phone. That's
Right
what I
there.
want.
Right
I want
there.
that to be all my DAW, everything runs into that, and I mix it for the phone. I can't find any service that does that.
Interesting.
And I think it'd be good because then the hardest thing to make it sound good on is the phone, in my experience. Like I can make it sound good, like if you put it on a big PA with a bunch of subs, your mix doesn't really have to be that good. You know, just in the ballpark. But on
Yeah.
the phone, it's like, well, you got to hear the bass on the phone.
See, and the phone is the new car test.
yeah.
It used to be the car test.
The car test,
I'm always
yeah.
taking the shit out into the car, and I'm like, I just realized just now, like this just hit me right now that I'm like, it's the phone test.
Yeah, the phone. And earpods.
Yep.
That's another good one to.
Ooh, yeah, good one.
So I'll mix on earpods, but there's these speakers, and if we've talked about this already, just be like, yeah, we talked about that. But there are these speakers called NS10s.
Well, they haven't heard it, so let's talk about it.
So NS10s, did we talk about those?
We did, but we can talk about it.
Okay, so the NS10s are these old Yamaha bookshelf speakers. They were
Look it up, Jamie. No.
hey, pull that shit up.
I wonder if I can find it.
They're like bookshelf speakers that were from, you know, back in the day, I don't know, 80s, 70s, whatever, and they were meant for like what if like some porn pops up?
Oh
right
yeah, it's like my school email, not my teaching email, but my college class email inbox. Assignments are. I'm taking one last class. It's the last class I'll ever have to take, hopefully.
Hell yeah. But they're like little bookshelf speakers, and they were meant for like, you know, put them in your room and listen to your record player on, and they sound like complete shit. Look, that's what they are. They're passive speakers. You had to have an amp for them, except for these new, like the Avatones. Those are like have an amp inside of them, so you don't need an external amp. But they sound like shit. But the way that they are made is they have this frequency curve. If you can make your
Is it this one?
that's it right there.
Nice.
That's the second version where it's got the NS10M. They were like, maybe we can make these for studio monitors for musicians, and they turned them sideways because originally they were supposed to stand up
Vertical.
and down, and the logo was sideways. But
They realized how people were using them and then rebranded it, or remade it.
yeah, I guess that's what they did. But see, they sit there, and if you can make them sound a song sound good on those speakers, they sound good anywhere on your phone, in a big system, anything. And you can go to look at any studio in the world, anybody. Maybe not some of like the super modern ones because they're getting kind of more like technology's kind of letting other speakers emulate those. But any major studio, those are sitting right there on the fucking desk. They got those right there, just like that. That's what they're mixing on that giant board, and
Like
they're mixing.
this.
They're like that, and
So you got your big monitors, but they have those.
yes, and
The ultimate reference monitor, NS10s.
in a sense, and that's what it is. That if it sounds good on those, it sounds good anywhere because the mid range is where your song sits, not the super highs and not the super lows. But if you crank those two, it sounds like it sounds good in your studio, but it doesn't translate anywhere. And that was the biggest like game changer for me is when I watched a video guy explaining that, and he said that is why NS10s do that, and you can do that in your DAW by just cutting off
Highs and lows and rolling them.
like 170 and like about 4K. So you got.
Do you think it'd be worth getting the NS10s, or do you think like the trick, just doing the cuts, like the roll-offs?
The cut works because when I did it, my mixes overnight. It was like when I brought it to a car, listened to a phone. I was like, oh, that's what it sounded like in my studio.
Nice.
And like you can turn it on and
Do
off.
you put the stuff back in? Do you ever open the curve back up, or do you?
Oh yeah, at the end you open it up and you don't touch anything below it. So like if like EQ wise, like you won't go in like
do any booster cuts
boost anything
below where you shelved it,
you
or not
just-
shelved it,
you
but
stay in that in all your stuff. And kind of what they say is fix the mid-range. If it sounds good in that mid-range cutoff, then all the other stuff just works itself out. You don't have to worry about like doing stuff in the. I mean, of course, like you can get as detailed as you
Just
want.
make some little surgical cuts and cut out some shit frequencies or something.
If you want to,
really need
but
to.
usually it takes care of itself down there, and that's what those do. You can go to in any studio, and they have these big ones, like on the top right. Those are kind of like, hey, we've mixed the song. Artist, come in and take a listen. They'll put them on those big ones, and it sounds really good.
Yeah.
But when the guys are mixing, they're using those,
it's the NS10s.
and they'll mix it like a low volume too. So like they're not like blowing them speakers out. It's like kind of like talking volume in the room, you know?
Yeah.
And once I started doing that, and then there's also the Avitone over to the right. The mix cubes are a step deeper into that world where they're even more narrow. And if
Okay.
you can make them sound, and sometimes they'll just do one of those in the middle mono, so you can check all your phase. Because sometimes you'll have something sound good in stereo, and then when you put it in mono, the phase cancels everything out, and then you're just out of. Then it sounds like shit.
Interesting.
But in stereo, it's not phase canceling, so they'll put one of those in the middle.
I've heard about mixing in mono too.
Mixing in mono, like EQing and stuff, because EQ throws everything out of phase unless you've got like a linear EQ, or what they call it, a certain one that like preserves the phase of the instrument, like a phase. You're familiar with phase?
For the most part, I still get confused a little bit.
Essentially, like a phase is like a wave does this.
I know they'll cancel. I know about phase cancellation when it's the same.
It's the same, and it'll cut it out. And if you like EQ something, it'll like shift it out of phase. Like if you have two mics on an amp, they can be out of phase and it'll sound bad. But if you just like flip the phase with a button, then it comes back to life. But if you EQ, sometimes it starts moving shit. Like digital stuff, it starts like moving the phase around. So they'll do that. But those, the whole mid-range thing, it just changed mixing for me. And then now if you can go to any studio, look at any famous studio, those are sitting on the desk. There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
I was looking at these. Those are pretty clean.
Yep,
They just look cool.
Those are new. Those are like they're like in wood.
Aventone or whatever.
So like CLA is Chris Lord Alge.
Gotcha.
You know who that is?
I know the name. He's mixed all kinds of.
He did like Green Day, like all the like rock music, POD, ton like maybe My Chemical Romance, Muse, like all like he's one of the top rock mixers in the world, and he brought those back because Yamaha doesn't make them anymore. You have to find
rare ass pairs on the internet. Somewhere.
And then hope that the speaker isn't busted or something like that, and then you got to have an amp for it, like a separate power amp to power them, because they're just bookshelf speakers with like.
And these have their own power amps. Huh?
Yeah, so those are built in, and you can get them passive too. And then these
are pretty dope. They're $850 for the pair.
Yeah, that's B stock. That's not bad. They're usually $9.99.
Yeah,
and that's a limited edition. But they got like the
maybe we'll get some subscribers and they can
donate below. Donate below. But when I get back home, I've had the big speakers and stuff like that, and I think I'm just gonna I'll keep the big ones. Like if somebody wants to or if I just want to listen to some music, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get some of the CLAs and just. There's a guy that I started watching, and he was just like, these are the ones to listen on, because especially if you get a big speaker with a lot of low end and your room isn't treated, and you can have these panels, and they work really good mid-range, high-range, but the low shit, like sometimes you got to have like some
bass traps out the ass,
actual thick-ass fucking things, because the bass it starts to get into like literally this wide of a frequency, like physically it takes this distance for the whole note to ring out physically in the air.
Yeah.
And your room just doesn't have that. And then it builds up. Like my room at my house has I have a thing that you can walk around the room with a mic, and it measures your room and then EQs it for you, which isn't perfect. But when you turn it off, it's like, if I'm talking like this, it'll go like I can't even do it. It's like really like low in the kind of low end, and it makes it sound like my mix is got way too much bass. So I would mix everything the way it sounded good to me sitting in front of those speakers, and I get in the car, and that bass build up isn't there anymore. So now there's no bass because I've mixed it to have no bass. And that's what the NS10s, they're not loud enough in your room that you don't need tons of bass traps and like diffusion on the wall. You're fine. You've got enough.
It's just about right.
Yeah. You don't need.
There's no bass traps, but it's treated.
You could put like some bass if you were gonna do some like hip hop or something. But I think you're fine. But they just don't get loud enough. Like you just need enough treatment to where you're not fooling yourself. But those are fantastic. And again, no one ever told me about these. Like I went to school. I was in school. No one ever said, mix in the mid-range, do this.
I've heard, I forget who it is, but they say that if you nail the mid-range, you nail the mix. Oh, it's, what's his name? Hardcore Music Studios? Jordan?
That's him. That's the guy. That's where I started like learning about the NS10s.
He talks about the NS10s.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, that's all I use. He's like, once you learn them, it sucks. It sucks when you first mixing on them because it sounds like shit. And you're like, why does anybody use these?
He's got some good info. I like that guy.
He's the thing I like about him, and it's something that I fell into this trap. You learn an EQ turns up the highs, and a compressor compresses and does certain things, but then you start getting on YouTube and people start going like, yeah, well, you need a parallel compressor that's doing this and this, and you get caught up in all this.
It's so much
shit,
and then it's information overload, and you're like, well, what do I do?
It's information overload, and they're also trying to make content. But there's this one guy I used to follow. His name's Joe Gilder. It's like home studio something. He's kind of like an older guy. He's bald.
I think I know him. He's like Studio One and stuff. Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. So I used to watch him, and I was like, he would like explain how he mixes and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds good. That sounds right. That is correct. Like, I know how a compressor works. What he's saying, put the compressor before the EQ or after, whatever he says. So I'd like take his stuff and listen to it and like start applying it. And then I was like, just like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I've never listened to any of his mixes, right?
Right.
So I went and like listened to his like mixes, like old stuff, new stuff. And I was like, I hate all of this guy's mixes. Not saying they're bad.
Yeah.
But I don't want my music to sound like his.
Yeah.
And I was like, it sounds just like I think I'm doing a bad mix because my mix sound like his.
Ah.
So like I listen to my mix and I go, the drums sound weird, but I listen and I go, oh shit, my drums sound like how his drums sound because I've been listening to this guy.
Yeah.
And I started to realize like I'm taking in information because the guy's sitting in front of a nice studio with a nice board and he has all this information. He's like, I work with clients, I teach this for a living, but I never stopped and listened to his work and realized I don't need to be listening.
Interesting point.
Because I don't want my music to sound like that.
Yeah.
But the hardcore music studio guy,
right.
I listen to his tracks.
Yeah, and he mixed like intervals and Silverstein.
Yeah.
Like bands, and you're like, okay.
Like I'll ride around listening to
like
the
I
bands.
love intervals. I'm like, fuck yeah. If he mixed intervals, then I want to sound like that. Yeah.
So when he says put 200 on the snare, and I'm like, okay, if my snare can sound like yours, and he's honest. I like how he's honest. He's like, I use samples.
Yeah.
They're gonna tell you stop using samples because that's not how drums are recorded. He's like, that's not the way you compete in a modern day. You can put a sample on it, It's like the drums need to be tight and perfect.
Yeah.
That's how you compete. You can hear like old records that they weren't put together and they sound like somebody playing in a room, which if that's the style you're going for, but he's like, this is how you do it. And he's like, stop putting these visual EQs on your screen and looking at meters and stuff. He's got me to start like looking at just like an SSL channel.
Yep.
And it's just the knobs.
Just the knobs.
And he's like, turn it till it sounds good.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Because I would be like, oh, I put like 6 dB.
That's a lot.
And that's too much.
But it sounds good.
That's too much. But like, if you don't have this like little meter showing you all the meters and stuff, and you're just listening and turning the knob, then it sounds like what it sounds like.
If you think about the old days and how good the old music sounded too, like, I mean, a lot of it we were talking about earlier, lo-fi.
Yeah.
But a lot of it sounded really, really fucking good though too, because a lot of it they weren't staring at the screens.
They just had a board in front of them.
They just had a console and they were just turning knobs.
Yeah, like Pink Floyd is my favorite because like maybe like when I listen to music, I listen to the production almost as much as the song. So like I'll listen to a song, I don't really like the song, but if it's produced really well, like I enjoy listening to a really well produced, perfectly, put together song. But like Led Zeppelin and some of the older tracks, they didn't have any bass. There's no low end. You can hear the bass, but it's almost like in the guitar range.
Yeah.
But Floyd had bass. Like you could hear it. It had some low end. I really like Dark Side of the Moon and what's the other one where they're like hello,
Brick in the Wall or whatever.
Yeah, The Wall and Comfortably Numb and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, hello.
It sounds good.
Is there anybody in there?
And it sounds good. It sounds good. Modern, like as a modern stance.
Still,
like it still holds up. And I used to go and like watch how they did it.
That still sounds better than almost anything ever.
Yeah. It's better than the I don't know. Maybe I got on a little rant there with that kind of stuff, but
no, it's great, man.
I get like the sometimes I just like something that sounds really like. That's why I kind of got into pop stuff. Like I don't love pop music, but like Katy Perry's albums
sound great.
Sound phenomenal
from a production standpoint.
Like you can
like
listen
Taylor Swift, like her vocals and the layers and the mix, and
how
I'm
they like shoot off.
I'm
to
like
the
someone's
sides.
like, oh, she's doing some devil shit or whatever. Like my aunt says that she disappeared and then came back. And then like there's an album where she like, I don't know, I haven't heard it, but there's like a phone call where like the thing rings and she's like, oh, hello, this is Taylor.
She's
and
dead.
Like, oh, Taylor's dead. This is the new me or whatever. And she takes it quite literal, which is funny.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, she must be doing some devil shit because I like her music. So something's in the.
That's like her whole team of people. That's like millions of dollars mixing her shit. There's probably like.
Because I'm like, why do I like her fucking music? Why do I like this? Because it's so fucking good. It's the production.
It's put together. It's written well.
It's so well done.
It's like 30 to 40. Dude, so when I was in school, we had.
Dude, and it's song after song after song after song. I'm like, what the fuck?
See,
how is she so good?
Taylor Swift writes it, but here's how. We watched a video on Rihanna, and it was like, because we also did like the industry, like how the industry works, not just how to record somebody. Rihanna did this song, right? And it ended up costing over $1 million for this one song. She like showed her go into the studio. This guy comes up and he's like, all right, we got about 10 songs for you. And someone else sang it. Someone else recorded it, like the songwriter. There's songwriters out there for these acts.
Of course.
She sang it, like all these different songs. They picked one. Then she just sang over it. Everything else was already done. She sang over it. Then they did like all this like back end, because it's technically illegal. It's called payola, to pay to be on the radio. It's technically, so they got all these back ways. They ended up spending over $1 million and it flopped. It didn't do anything. But that's just, when you're that big, there's so many people that are just pouring money into just one shitty song. Taylor Swift has all that. She has like a team of people that probably, they send her vocal tracks to one person, and that one person makes a shit ton of money just making sure everything's time aligned perfectly, moves everything, syncs all the vocals up, make sure everything's
just balanced, just right, panned, just right, just
everything,
all of it,
just cleans everything up, and then they send it to a mixing guy that mixes all the vocals, and then there's someone doing it for the tracks, or someone doing it for this. There's like all that shit, and then they send it to a mixer, and then they send it to, it's like so much time and effort. Of course, it's going to sound badass. It's going to sound badass.
Under the microscope by the top
like
professionals.
Nothing gets through. That's like, if there's any kind of like, oops, like your guitar slipped a little bit, they're like, guys, we've got $100,000. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's just record this again. We've got 6 months to do this repeating guitar track over and over. You know, same thing with like, if you watch like Morgan Wallen got really big in the country, and like he's singing a little song, but if you look at the musicians, they're like pro top of the line musicians, and they've got like, you think it's like, oh, this is just a simple guitar song, but there's like 7 guitars playing little
layers
things.
and layers and layers.
Yeah, and they're all just kind of sitting in the back of the studio, and it's like, it's a live take, you know, but there's like 7 guys, and he's just kind of sitting there like, singing, but it's so much.
I think I might have seen maybe one of them. It's like a good music video where he's.
It's like a dark studio kind of.
I think so, and he's just chilling, and the guys are in the background, and
there's just so many, and they're all just like there's like robots, you know, like studio musicians. So you can make anybody sound good, even without studio tricks. Like if you got enough time, you know, you can
even fix.
You can like somebody that can't sing. If you got enough time, you can record and comp enough to where you don't have to use any autotune, but you might spend 6 months singing a song and it comes out perfect. But it took like thousands and thousands of takes. Like you can do whatever you want. It's just money.
Oh man,
it takes money, especially in a big studio. But they're throwing money at these people. Like Sabrina Carpenter, probably, you know, millions of dollars for her record, you know. And
of course,
the thing about Sabrina Carpenter is the espresso was a splice beat. You know what splice is?
It's like a little app or something, right? Like a
No, it's like it's a service that like mainly like EDM and rappers use. You know, rappers now, like beat makers refer to themselves as producers.
Gotcha.
Right? And they're making beats.
Okay.
Like Fruity Loops and stuff like that. They have these like little loops you can go on, and it'll be like,
yeah,
and it just it's perfectly loop. And they just take it and drag it, and then they'll have like a doom doom doo 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 doom, and they're like, oh, that's, and it tells you the key and the tempo. Take that and drag it, and then you find like a dun 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 dun, and you go dun dun and drag it, and then you have a song, and you kind of move the little loops around.
Yeah.
Right. That's what Splice is. It's loops.
Gotcha.
Espresso was a fucking loop, the whole track.
Nice.
Somebody took it off Splice. It's a monthly service like Spotify. They dragged it into the thing, and then she just sang over it. #1 song.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody did that, but it wasn't like her production crew. There was just a loop. And then you go, well, is it a good song? It's got to be a good song if it's #1 in the entire world.
I don't know if I've heard it. I'm sure I've heard it. As soon as I heard it,
It's like, think about me, isn't that mean espresso? I'm sitting there singing espresso.
Okay.
But it was #1 for a while, you know.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh shit.
I think she's like one of those Disney child actors that turns into like Ariana Grande.
Yep.
And then gets big.
Crazy world, man.
It is. It's a big world. Sometimes it just gets disheartening when you're like, is that what we got to do? Like, do we have to do TikTok?
I think it's just
Do we have to TikTok all the time?
do we have? I know I haven't ever even done TikTok.
I don't want to TikTok.
I should.
So you got to now.
Yeah, where are we headed? Man, I don't even know. It's crazy. I think
we're about to hit a Kurt Cobain, Nirvana. Somebody's gonna come out and just be like, like we make all of our stuff, we just film it on our cell phones or something. I don't know. Like you can't really predict, but Nirvana was kind of like, how faster can the guitar solos get? We're impressed anymore. Like we're impressed with, you know, Motley Crue and everybody just soloing and loud drums, and how flamboyant can we get? And he was just like, fuck, I'm tired of this. I'm just gonna play shitty pawn shop guitars, you know, kind of mumble into the mic, and just then that changed. Then we went to that, and we were in that like, it turned into Creed eventually. Like,
yeah.
Right. Like Nirvana is just like pre-Creed.
Yeah.
Creed's like, now we got money, Nirvana. We'll go into the studio and polish this up.
Yeah.
But it's like
and
it's
up
like
the musicianship a little bit.
Yeah. Of course, you know they got like actually playing like
Mark Tremonti.
Mark Tremonti's actually playing, you know,
Yeah.
actual solos and shit, you know. But it's like it's kind of like in that line of
It is though, yeah. The grunge vocal style still like
all
totally,
A's, all A vowels.
Yeah.
They don't. It's like hey oh hey yeah. Everything's an A, right?
Yeah.
All their vowels. Hero, hero. It's all no O's.
I never really thought of that. That's funny.
Next time you listen to like Pearl Jam or something,
I mean,
like,
I know it makes perfect sense. It's just funny the way that you put it into words there. So
it'll all be A's. You'll be like, oh man, it's all A's.
No O's. It's all A's.
That's not even my joke. I saw that on Family Guy. They
Yeah.
had like, it's like, this one grunge singers only sing with A's.
And then it cuts scenes and shows them doing
Yeah.
it. I love those cut scenes, and that's so great how they did that.
Dude, that whole Family Guy, I didn't realize it till, because I watched it growing up, you know, from like
It's older than you'd think.
2000, 1999 is when it came out.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that old, and I realized, like my stepdad and his brother were talking. Like his brother turned him onto that show. And I
Yeah?
remember them talking about that, and I was little. I was like 10 or something. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's like,
So I just realized, I'm like, damn, that shit's like 25 years old.
yeah, it's old. It's old as fuck. Dude, I went back and watched it again after, you know, you watch it as a kid and you've seen everything. So I just kind of went back from the beginning, started watching it, and I was like, dude, every joke that I ever make is just a Family Guy joke. My entire humor is built off that fucking show. And I was like, I made it seem like these were my jokes. Like, no, I've just been ripping off Family Guy my entire life.
It's so good. I love it when you go back and like rediscover something with like a fresher, more mature perspective.
And you get the joke. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, like that's why that's funny.
That's
or
way better. That wasn't just
or
like,
like, God damn, I never realized like this shit's clever. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it's great going back into something and seeing it again.
I love Family Guy. And American Dad was good too.
That one is good. I never watched much of it until way later, and then I had some friends that were watching it, and I was like, this shit's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. Like they canceled Family Guy, and he was like, "Well, I'll just make American Dad." And then they restarted Family Guy, and he's like, "Well,
Just
we'll
keep them going.
Keep going." And then they canceled Family Guy again. You know, Seth MacFarlane doesn't do Family Guy anymore.
No shit.
He quit like years ago. He does the acting, like the voices, but he doesn't write or
Okay.
direct or do anything. He doesn't do anything. He just goes in and does the voices.
Nice.
He's like, I don't have time to do everything.
What's up with South Park? Are they still kicking?
Yeah.
Because I know they just, I need to catch up.
I haven't like South Park.
Because they're OGs too, man.
Dude, South Park is so good at like pointing out the thing that nobody's talking about, but is like the obvious point.
Yeah.
And you're like, that is like, and you're never like, oh, they're on a side. They're just like almost like little kids, like how they do it. It's kids.
I love it. Yeah.
And it's just right up the center. It's like, you guys are both lame,
Yeah.
and here's why.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah, shit, I took a stance on that, and they proved both sides perfectly why this is lame. You
I
know?
know it. I know
It's
it.
so good, and it's like
They take the world's hugest problems and issues and shrink them down into like elementary school kids.
yeah, and it's like be like a margarita machine or something, you know, where they're like just trying to return this margarita machine, but or like the when they like made like Kyle or one of them become like Jesus for the debt of everybody, and he was like, I'll take the debt. So everybody was like charging all their credit cards to his credit card. He was like paying everybody's debts like Jesus, and he ended up took everybody's debt in the entire world, so nobody was in debt, but he just had all the debt.
All the debt.
But it was like a analogy to like Jesus and stuff, and
I
it's
don't know
super.
if I've seen that one. That's hilarious.
There's and the one where they're saying shit.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I remember that whenever it was Law and Order or something was like, they were like, they finally got permission to say shit on like broadcast TV.
Like on USA or whatever it was.
It was like CBS or
Yeah.
NBC or something, like one of the like antenna channels.
Okay.
If you haven't, it's
the
like,
locals.
and it was like CBS or NBC, some show, and they got to say shit. And that show, they kept saying like, they're like, we got to get what they're going to say shit on television. Like everybody's, but the funny part was like in real life, people were talking like that. The news were like, they're saying shit on television. Does this going to hurt our children? And like, people were like, we got to watch this show. And it ended up being like, they said shit so many times it like brought a dragon back. It was crazy. But I haven't watched the new stuff, but like,
I
but
love that shit.
it sometimes, you know, it's,
I love the one where it's like Rock the Vote and it's like P Diddy. This is way before the Diddy thing. Like this is like a long time ago. He's like choosing between a douche and a turd.
a douche and a turd sandwich.
And it's like the election, you know.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, I just don't see the point. If I have to choose between a giant douche and a turd sandwich, I don't see the point. And it's like Stan, and
Yeah.
the whole town turns against him because they're like, oh, you don't see the point. Like you don't think voting's important, and they like fucking banish him from South Park and everything. But
Yeah, and like that's how it is. You know, you have to pick one of the sides. It's like I don't want to play this game.
yeah,
I don't want to pick either of these sides.
this poor kid is just like, doesn't make sense. They both suck.
A douche in the yeah, that was like, Mr. Garrison was Trump, and it was like I'm joking about running, and then they're like, oh shit, I'm actually winning. You know, that's funny.
They do good stuff, man.
South Park.
What do you think? You want to take a quick break?
Sure.
And I think we're back.
We're back.
We're back. So you were just telling a really cool story. We were on the porch, just taking a little intermission here, about being at an Under Oath concert, and
Yeah, I was in the video.
you were in the video.
I was in it. That's the most famous I've ever been.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were getting squished against the rail.
So I was in the crowd. There was 4 or 5 bands before them, and if you get a front spot at a concert, you don't move. You stay in the
there.
front. If you got to pee, you'll
never get back.
because you'll never get back. Under Oath came on, and it turned into a just pushing of so many people, just like rushing the stage, trying to get close because they were like, "This is why we're all here."
Right.
And they were pushing me so much that I put my feet up on the rails, like at the front, like the little guard gate thing that kept people from actually getting on the stage. So I put my feet up on the rail, and I'm leaned back into the crowd like in a lounge chair. Like just a sea of people like this, just sitting there. And the guitarist jumps into the crowd with his guitar, stage dives, the most badass thing, like he's like, whatever, like what the logistics of that, me being older thinking like him busting someone's head open or hitting someone with the guitar. He's just like,
and he's still playing.
He's in there just like,
and like you said, his cable's attached.
He's still got his cable. He had a wire, like he had a fucking cable, not a wireless, and so I was like, I'm sitting there in the crowd, and like he's directly next to me. We're both kind of crowd surfing. So I'm like, I reached over and kind of like strummed on his guitar while he's playing, and then they released a DVD. They released their deluxe version of their original Breakout. And it was like the original one with some extra bonus songs, and another DVD, which was like backstage where they filmed like them on their tour bus and them at different shows. And that show was on that thing, and they filmed him jumping into the crowd on that, and I was in the video. And everybody back home, like all of my friends were huge Under Oath fans, like everybody listened to Under Oath, and I was like, I'm in the Under Oath video. I screenshotted it. Like you could probably don't pull it up, but like you could pull it up and like see me like on like just hang. It's like 2 seconds.
I wonder what year was that.
This was probably...
It'd be hilarious if we could find it just to see, because it's like, look it up, Jamie. Like
you literally can pull it up, and because I did like...
Is it on like YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. A couple years ago, it doesn't look like me because I used to have like real bleach blonde hair. It wasn't like I didn't dye it, but I had really long blonde hair.
I know we all look different at some point, huh?
So if you type in like Under Oath,
I used to have long ass dreads.
Really?
Sick ass, like 18-inch dreads. They were so long I could pick my hair up and it'd be like hanging out of my hand, like it was like a full arm, like
Jesus. That's
I had like long ass dreads, yeah.
So with dreads, you could type in like Under Oath, only chasing safety, DVD or something. I don't really know, but so dreads, you have to like, if you have 6-inch dreads, your hair actually is like way longer.
Hey, there you are. No, I'm just kidding.
Me. That's it. That's the thing.
That's the one.
The deluxe edition, and
no, we got a pooch ad. Do you guys have any dogs?
Yeah, I'm not a dog person or like an animal person myself, but my wife has a 2-pound Chihuahua.
Oh, okay.
And she just got a new little dog. So I think that's it. It'll show like Tim. It'll be like, let's see.
So this is the Under Oath. They're only chasing safety. The DVD extras.
Yeah, and this was like a big deal back in the day. Like nobody had a DVD.
Yeah, I was about to
With
say
like a
earlier,
play
when you said
screen?
screenshot it, I was like, do you mean pause the VHS?
It was like a, it had a play and bonus features.
Yeah, I remember those tour DVDs were sick. Like you'd buy like a CD from a band, and every now and then like one of them would have like a bonus DVD.
Yeah, dude.
And it'd be like tour and maybe a couple of music videos and stuff.
That's the guy. It might be right around here. It kind of shows like his, because they introduce each member of the band.
I remember Under Oath being somewhat like Christian.
They were Christian.
Christian.
Yeah. They're not now. Everybody that was Christian, Chevelle was a Christian band when they started.
They just kind of abandoned the whole title.
They get famous and realize like they don't want to be stuck under that like we have to play Christian shows, we have to play. But Solid State and Tooth and Nail was the like it's right around, maybe it's before, but they were the ones. Hang on, go back. That's it right there, right here. Hang on. I think.
Was it like a dark show, like a night, like inside, or was it outside?
It was an inside show. It's around here. He does like a. That's it. Hang on. See how he jumps in the crowd.
Too bad the resolution's so.
That was it.
Let me go back here. Let's see. You're probably one of those pink silhouettes.
I'm right in here. That's my friend Corey, right there.
Yeah.
And he was standing next to me, and I was up against the. I don't feel like it was this low resolution. Maybe it's just.
Yeah.
Whoever uploaded it.
Could be the TV or who knows. Yeah.
But essentially, I'm like right here.
Right there.
When he did that.
Sick.
Yeah, when I first got like that DVD, I paused it right there, and like there's like you can see me going like stupid fucking face.
Nice. Your stuff's Ambulance Studios, right?
Yeah, 2 A's.
I figured, I don't know, maybe we could just punch it up, and I don't know if I've ever looked it up. It should be in the search. I think I've looked you up before.
There's so much stuff on there.
Look it up, Jamie.
Pull that shit up, Jamie. That's it.
There you are. So if anybody's interested in some of Bobby's content, that's Ambulance Studios.
Dude, and look, check this out. So like, see how like me playing music, but you go to this Prince video?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm going to try reacting to music because that seems to be like a quick way to get views.
Yeah.
Click on that and look how many fucking views I got on that video. Just me like talking about Prince. 455,000 views. I was like, what the fuck? Like overnight, you know?
Yeah.
Of an old ass, it's just Prince. I still, every day I get comments. Like,
yeah, like
my phone blows up all the time just from this one video, you know?
What a trip.
And one thing I did, and I've realized that like a technique, it sucks that you have to have techniques. I wish I could
like a YouTube technique?
Like a technique on YouTube is so there's a guy named Jeff Lynne from ELO, right? The singer from Electric Light Orchestra.
Okay.
And I was like, so Prince is playing, because essentially what that video was is Prince was played My Guitar Gently Weeps. He came in with all the badass like George Harrison's son, Tom Petty, all the big like older guitar guys, and they were all playing guitar together for like George Harrison, some kind of thing, and Prince came in and did the solo and just fucking
nailed it.
And at the beginning I was like, oh, there's this guy and this guy. I was like, I'm not sure who this guy is. He looks kind of like that Muppet character, and he does. He looks like the Muppet that plays the saxophone.
Okay.
Right? And I said that, and I got so much hate from people going, you call yourself a musician and you don't know who Jeff Lynne is from whatever? And then some people like, you don't know who Tom Petty is? Like, even people didn't even know who I was talking about. But I got so much hate from not like knowing who this guy was that it blew the video up even more.
Yeah, because they're wrestling in the comments.
Yes.
Everyone's just...
So a comment is a comment. So like, that's why like you'll start
like
to see...
welcome the hate.
Yeah, TikTok has turned into like in new stuff now, it's turned into where like, if you just say something weird or like a rage bait. I didn't mean to. I really didn't know who the guy was. But now you can just do that. You make a TikTok, and there was an example. I saw a video. It was a lady going, so I just got this new shower head, and she walks into her bathroom, right? She goes, I got this new, and it's like her trying to like, sometimes like there's like TikToks was like a lady just talking about like a cool gadget she got or like whatever. She was talking about the shower head. She walked into the bathroom and walked past the toilet, and the toilet was just full of shit.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But didn't mention it, didn't say anything. So she walks by and then starts talking about the shower head. Yeah. And that video was probably her most popular video of all time.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because she didn't mention it and acted like, so people are going, and the first comment is always this. It's always this. Are we not going to talk about the shit in the toilet?
Yeah.
And then everybody goes, first you need to clean your toilet, flush your but it made that video blow up off of, I guess that's kind of like rage bait. It's kind of like if you see
Didn't you just, there was a thumbnail that said that. Oh, no, never mind. It said scam or something. Wasn't it the one that said rage bait? Or am I tripping?
one of them, it was like, so this is where I kind of discovered, if you go back down, where I discovered you can cut up a podcast into short videos, and then you take one podcast and then you have 10 videos.
Lots of content, yeah.
So like we talked about why old movies aren't funny anymore for some reason. So I just cut that up into a thing. But one of them was like Jack Black.
I don't think this has audio on right now, which is fine. But I'll just play a snippet of it just so I can kind of see your setup. A little bit.
This was during COVID. I was doing everything remote.
So that's cool, though. You had a podcast and lots of stuff going on.
So that was like my studio in my house.
That's the one in your house, not the room that was next door?
Yeah, that was actually in my house,
Nice.
Where I had everything. And I had like 2 cameras. It was too much. I was doing too much, man.
It looks good. The production looks good.
Thanks. I have all kinds of lights around me and stuff. Lighting is key to everything,
Yeah. No, it looks dope, man. I like it.
But so I had like a thing where like Jack Black kind of ruined old style music for me, because Jack Black comes out and does Tenacious D, and he's joking, like I do not need, like it's singing, like he does that high, yeah, and he'll do the high pitch like but like sounds like Guns N' Roses kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's how those guys actually sing.
Yeah.
They actually do sing like, so now every time I hear Guns N' Roses or like some of those older kind of rock bands that sing in that high register kind of thing, I go, Jack Black.
Fucker.
And I was like, dude, he ruined all that music for me, because all I can imagine is Jack Black singing that shit.
So that's what you guys were talking about, essentially?
On one of them, this one was talking about how like we went back and watched Ace Ventura, and I remember as a kid watching When Nature Calls and laughing so hard I could not breathe, like especially when he's doing like the shadow puppets on his nipples and stuff, and I was like, I remember just like so hard I could not stop or like, you stole the button and does like reverse, and then I went back and watched it as an adult, and I was like,
how is this not funny?
I was like, this isn't as funny as I thought it was. Like, it's not funny. And then he had kind of like the idea, like kids have like a cheese filter. Like you get a cheese, is what he called it, the cheese filter as you get older. And then you kind of start to go like, that's childish. That's not funny. So you kind of lose like your young sense of humor.
Right.
With that. And that's what that was about.
It's funny too, because The Mask was always funny. But I watched The Mask like not that long ago, and it was so funny. I was like,
was it?
I was like, how is this so fucking funny? Because it's like, I don't know. Dude, The Mask was just genius. I don't know.
Dude, Jim Carrey is the greatest comedian actor of all time.
He's brilliant, man.
What I noticed about The Mask last time I watched it, it was right around the time that the new Power Rangers movie came out.
Okay.
Remember, it was like a movie, Power Rangers?
Yeah.
And it took, like I remember watching it going, this is so boring. What are they doing? Just talking? I'm expecting
action and
like a modern version of Power Rangers, right? And it was like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie before they had their suits on and before they were Power Rangers. And I noticed new movies kind of do that. They talk a lot. Like even like like the Thunderbolts. I'm big into Marvel. Like it just takes a while. There's a lot of talking and like cinematic shots and stuff. But The Mask, I sent it to my brother. I was like, we are 15 or 16 minutes into the movie and he is the fucking Mask.
Yeah.
We're there. Like
We're
the
there.
movie has already started. Like why, like imagine if The Mask took an hour before you put the mask on.
Yeah.
That's me watching The Mask as an adult. That's what I got out of it. I was like, they used to just, old movies just like got into it. They don't have to explain every fucking reason. He
Yeah.
found a mask. Let's
Just
not
put two and two together. They cut scenes. This thing happened. That you can assume that this happened.
He
and-
found a mask. That's it. It doesn't matter. Who cares why it's there? We don't need to see the.
Yeah, it's part of the mystique
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
just a mask. You put it on. Now he's crazy. We're just here to watch him fucking jump around. That movie was great. The Cuban Pete. They call me Cuban Pete.
Oh yeah, all the cops. Chicky boom, chicky boom. Yeah. Oh man.
You know they made a second mask.
Did they?
It was dude, it was bad.
You know what? It almost reminds me of like when they try to plant the mask on him in the movie,
Yeah.
and it's obviously fake.
Yeah.
You remember that scene in the movie where they're like he has the mask in his pocket or something?
No.
I forget. It's like because the real mask is like that wood one.
It's like a wood, yeah.
That fuses to his face or something. But then later in the movie, he gets busted and he's like, "That's not me" or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, well, how do you explain this?" And it's like that cheap rubber mask, like someone planted it on him or something. I forget, but I imagine the second Mask movie being like the cheap, shitty rubber mask. It's
Dude,
like you guys tried.
I
but-
didn't watch it.
It wasn't Jim Carrey, was it?
No,
That's why.
It was Jamie Kennedy, the guy that did Malibu's Most Wanted.
That's why I don't remember it because I remember probably just being like, "Oh, it's not Jim Carrey."
Yeah, I
it's
was
not
like,
even.
it was called like Son of Mask, and like it was like a baby got it.
Okay.
And then they did another Ace Ventura, like Ace Ventura Jr., and it was a kid.
Okay, I remember this vaguely.
I was like, what the fuck are we gonna watch a kid be Ace Ventura?
Why do you get so into the weeds with the sequels? Like, you got to keep it real.
They're just trying to make some money. Like they're like, this was a big IP. Like somebody will.
Like, even the original Mortal Kombat was so good.
Yeah.
And then they redid Annihilation and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and you're like, it's just budget, man.
Dude.
It's not as good. Like, I mean, I know you're trying to top like Solid Gold.
Annihilation was. I liked Annihilation because it had it had so many more
Well,
characters.
that's cool. That was cool.
But there was a part where she was like, it was Sindel, like the mother, and he says something. She goes, "Too bad you will die." It was the worst fucking acting I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, even as a kid, I was like,
That's bad.
this is corny, man.
Yeah.
But I just remember being like, Street Fighter had a movie, and I was like, all right, Street Fighter, fighting game. What do we want to see? What's the main thing? Them do their fucking powers.
Okay.
No fucking body used any powers in the movie.
What are we doing?
What is this? It's Street Fighter, should be doing the Hadouken and all that stuff. Like he halfway did it, but it was like he just kind of punched him with his hand, but it wasn't shooting fireballs out of your mouth. Out of your hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember as a kid being like, oh, this is just like a movie with Street Fighter skins. It's just like a regular movie, but just people happen to be the same characters as Street Fighter.
It's discouraging, man. I mean, the 90s did have a shitload of great movies. I've talked about this before, but there's one year it was like Jurassic Park, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump.
Independence Day?
Yeah, all in
Yeah.
a year. And you're like, what?
Dude, those were like Forrest Gump is a crazy good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even just Jurassic Park, it's not the greatest movie of all time, but the franchise, like the invention of that franchise and then the soundtrack and everything,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, it's like evergreen.
great
And,
soundtrack. That was Spielberg. Like a lot of those were, dude, Close Encounters. You remember that movie?
Yep.
You remember the fucking scene where he's sitting at the railroad tracks?
I need to revisit that.
It is, he's already kind of seen the UFOs, and it's Steven Spielberg did all those. And I'll tell you another thing about Star Wars, which is crazy, Steven Spielberg. But like he pulls up in his truck. It's like an old 70s truck. I guess that was in the 70s or 80s when it came out. So he pulls up at a train track, and we've already kind of seen the UFOs, and then like lights behind him kind of lower behind, and it's creepy. It's, dude, it scared the shit out of me. It's good. These lights kind of like lay behind him, and you're like, and like he's not aware. He's like looking at a map trying to do something, and you're like, dude, the aliens are right fucking behind you,
right there.
And then it pulls around. It was a car. It was just a car that pulled around, and you're like, oh, okay. And then then another one comes, and you're like, but it comes in different. Just like, it's so good. He's such a good filmmaker. Like it comes in different, and then it's like the actual aliens. But the first one made you think like, oh, it's just a car pulling up behind. So you think the second one, and then like the railroad. Anytime I stop at a railroad track now and I see like the crossing signs, I think of that movie. But like they start shaking and freaking out because like there's an alien, like the UFO's above his car now.
Yeah, and that's the older one from like the 70s, you said?
Yeah. Close Encounters of the Third Kind with the Richard Dreyfuss.
I need to check that one out again. I've seen it, but I just don't really remember it well.
It is so good. It's
I don't know why. Some movies I can remember every line, and other movies I'm like, I don't know if I've seen that. And then I start watching it, and I'm like, oh, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Wait, have I seen? Yeah, I've seen this. It's kind of one of those ones where maybe I just missed it somewhat.
Yeah,
like,
it was older.
I mean, it's classic. I know the title, and I know I've seen it. I just don't know why I don't vividly remember it.
It's good. It's like a terrifyingly, like, it's like terrifying in a non, like,
graphic way.
Slasher, flick kind of like
kind of like the original Alien or something like that. Like,
yeah, I don't know if I've ever even seen the first Alien.
Like again, like there's not a whole lot of crazy graphic stuff, but it's suspense.
It's all like,
and,
the
you know what's happening, and
like something drips in the back and they just don't mention. You're like, that was the alien, and they just
it's implied.
It's implied. Yeah. But like, so the third Star Wars movie, like of the prequels. So like, what was it called? Revenge of the Sith, I think.
The prequels.
The one with like the actual Anakin and not Darth Vader. At the very end, he fights Obi-Wan Kenobi where he gets burned.
Okay.
Right. So the whole movie's like corny, right? Like it wasn't very. I mean, you can have opinions on it or whatever, but like the very last scene, like where they're fighting, is just like a whole different movie. And he's like, the whole thing is like, "You were my brother, Anakin." I love, like, you could like feel the dynamics of this, like he's watching Anakin, which he raised, essentially turn to the dark side, and like he's just like a broken man that he failed, and then like my brother's a huge Star Wars guy, and I was like, dude, but like the last scene almost makes the movie like worth watching. He's like, that one scene was Steven Spielberg. He came in and just directed that part of the movie. And I was like, you can tell. Same movie, same actors, directed by a different guy. The whole movie changed and became like epic. It's like the best part in all the Star Wars movies, besides like I'm Your Father,
Wow. It kind of almost goes back to the thing we were talking about production earlier. Like,
yeah,
the art of production is almost more than just the kind of like we were talking about Taylor Swift songs being good.
Yeah, that's what.
Like Spielberg is so good that like.
He's like, I know how to
exploits the talent. It's like, the talent's the talent. Okay, whatever. But it takes the behind the scenes, like, mastermind to put all that stuff together in like a cohesive way where it's like it resonates like eternal, like these eternal scenes that like stick with you.
It's because somebody was like, I'm good at, not even like, it's like, hey, I'm really good at playing guitar. But if you don't have somebody that can capture the feeling right and make it into something, then it's just you playing a cool thing on your couch.
Yeah.
It wasn't produced into a thing. Like, I'm big on sitcoms, and like I've been doing a lot of like, just like, I don't say research, but like looking into how sitcoms are made.
Yeah.
And if you go and watch an old sitcom, like I've been watching Home Improvement, it's just joke, perfect. Everything's cut, and it's because there is a team of 100 people. There's somebody that their whole job is to go look at his hair and make sure his hair isn't falling down during the set. There's someone else, and you can watch them in the bloopers. Like if they miss a line, it's immediately as they miss a line, someone walks onto the set and holds a thing out and says, "Here's your line," without asking. It's no, like, your job is to like stand there and wait for them to miss a line, and when they do, you show it. Boom. And that's why these sets are just like, they do them live, and they can just like put out this like monster content because you've got like writers. And I don't know if you've heard of Punch Up. You ever heard of Punch Up?
Mm-mm.
So someone writes a movie, they make a movie, and they get a bunch of comedians to come in and watch the movie and punch it up. And they'll be like, wouldn't it be funny if they said this there? Or like they'll read the script and be like, what about this joke? What about this joke? And then they punch up the script.
Okay.
So like the whole movie is just like constant good jokes. Boom, 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 boom. They're like, take that one out. That one doesn't. And then there's so many people behind the scenes. And I think like, maybe this is just me talking, but like nowadays, like making a record, making a YouTube video, like there's a reason why like Mr. Beast, you know who Mr. Beast is? Because he's got a team of people like
come feeding these ideas,
just
and,
like doing everything, like booking there's somebody that just books plane tickets. There's somebody that just, you know, like organizes the office and the camera stuff.
Managing finances and liability or recruiting.
Yeah. And
sending emails, just, I mean, everything you can think of.
It's a team of people. It's same thing with like, you know, like I like to say this, like, all right, some bands are like, yes, we're a really good band. We just need our break. And I was like, well, what would happen if Madison Square Garden said, all right, you're booked 2 nights at Madison Square Garden. Like, say, like your band. What would you do?
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck?
Like the movies have led us to believe that somebody just comes in and does that and we just go and set up. And that's not how it works. It's a production. It's a crew. There's like a touring band is not just like showing up to venues and the venues are doing stuff. The guy that like books it, make sure you get paid. Who's deciding time for load in and load out? You get charged money if you stay too long. So like if somebody were to tell me you can play Madison Square Garden, I'd be like, I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't have. What am I doing with the PA? Like, when do we set the PA up? Where do we get the PA? When does it come down? How big does it need to be? And there's people that their jobs. I started like following a guy. He does Electric Callboy. He's a tour manager, and he just kind of talks about what real life is.
Goes into it, yeah.
And he's like, here's how you rent a bus. Here's how, because like, you got to have a bus. He's like, well, what about food? He's not buying it, so it's got to come from a budget of something.
Yeah.
So there's actually a budget for the tour. And like, are we going to run out of money before the end of the tour? Like, there's all this like back end that goes into everything. But you think, oh, Mr. Beast just put a camera up and made his video.
Not even close. Maybe in the very, very beginning.
Yeah, in the early stuff, you know, it was like some guy, you know, there's so much shit that goes into it. And I think that kind of gets overlooked a lot because you just look at the star. But the production is
all of it.
Fucking crazy, especially movies. Like
I know. Look at just look at the list of the names at the end.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Like
if you
500
sit
people
at the theater and like watch the end, and you're like, just to make sure we don't miss that last little cut scene.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But you sit there and you watch all the credits, and it's like 5, 7, 8 minutes of just names after names after names, and you're like, that's the movie. Those are the
people that made the movie.
Yeah.
Made it work.
All that shit.
There's a guy, because I used to think, like, how are they fucking miking these people? Like, I never thought about, like, on Seinfeld. Like, how are they fucking miking? They don't have mics.
No.
They're not wearing lapels. There's a dude with a big boom mic, and, like, good ones will, like, and again, like,
they're just outside of camera range.
So, like, me, like, if I did that, I'd be like, okay, I need a mic. I need to hook it up to a recorder. It needs to be sync. There's a guy that just holds the mic, and he just goes, when people are talking, does this. He doesn't look at audio levels. He doesn't worry about anything else. He's just holding the fucking mic going. And then there's a guy sitting behind him and goes, like, adjusting gain if it gets too loud or too quiet. Then there's a guy that's, like, syncing it. Another, like, with cameras, when you get into, like these, like, regular cameras, like, you know, handheld cameras and stuff, they do a bunch of stuff by themselves, but a cinema camera does not focus. There's a guy, it's called focus pulling.
Yeah.
He has a thing. There's a guy that just holds the camera. He doesn't touch settings. He doesn't do shit. He just holds it, and they go, on mark, you walk here and walk there. And there's a guy that's got a focus that goes and, like, tapes it off. They, like, they measure this shit out before the scene, and he goes and, like, moves the focus on the scene from the, like, what the director tells him.
I know, it's nuts.
That's how much fucking shit goes into it, you know? And, like,
it's so crazy.
It's so much shit. Like, you know, me making a video, you would think, like my podcast video that you just saw, you would think, I screen recorded the guys, put a camera on myself, and then put them into a thing. But like, editing a video takes so much time. Like I had to put the logos on it, match the logos, kind of match the thing, sync the audio, cut out.
It's a lot.
It's a whole bunch of shit. It's not
It's
just
a
like
lot.
It's not just like all right, play your song.
Yeah.
All right, upload.
Upload.
It takes more back end,
I mean, even this takes a lot.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, I kept it real simple. I'm gonna be good, Charlotte, and steal. No, let's talk about me. No, but like in the beginning, I was like, well, I could record music. So it's like, why couldn't I record some voices just talking? So that's what the whole idea came from. And I had some friends that did a little local podcast, and it's not like I was trying to copy them or bite their style or whatever, but everyone does a podcast. So
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I can record music, I can record talking.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, it is more complicated than that, of course, because then like if you have a longer file, your computer has to do all that processing, which eventually I ended up doing this solution where I get all of it's recorded to that board over there.
Yeah.
The audio.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even plan on really doing video, but like ever since the very first one, I was like, well, fuck it. I'll throw a GoPro up and just do one single angle.
Yeah.
And then I've just kind of kept it that way. Now we're running doubles here because of like redundancy or whatever, and I might maybe use a clip from the other one or something. But like if you're cutting 2 angles, that's double the video footage just to get to your point about how much goes in. Like if you're going to multicam, now your computer has to handle that much more processing, and then you have to make the actual cuts. Like unless you have an editor, sometimes there's a producer behind the scene. When you're talking, and they're on this camera and they're on you, and then it goes to me and he clicks over to me. But I don't have a producer.
Yeah.
I don't have a guy sitting over there cutting angles. So if I want to do the cut angles, I'll have to literally watch it in real time.
Post, yeah.
And go back and forth.
Cut.
And that's why I'm like,
cut.
I like just the one angle almost, because I'm like, it's like the audience is the third member and I don't have to do all those cuts.
Dude.
I'm like, I can't spend this much time editing.
And like the multicam thing, I would do at the base. For example, we did a interview. It was called like the hot seat. It was kind of like Hot Ones, or like Hot Wings and stuff, but it was a 3-camera setup. It was just me, it's just me doing it. So there's the host and a RPA pilot and a like a F-16 pilot. So it's like pilot versus pilot, kind of thing.
Okay.
So when I was like getting all my stuff off my computer and stuff, I looked at the editing, like my file for where I like edited everything out. There's like hundreds of cuts because because I had a camera on the host, a camera on the 2 pilots who were sitting on the couch by themselves, and then a wide shot of everybody. And you got to cut back and forth between, and you can't like, if you make a hard cut and delete a section, you have to cut to a different camera angle now, because you can't just have someone go, and then like their head moves. So you have to cut to a different angle or something.
Yeah.
So like I was looking, I was like, dude, this is, and I was doing it for work, but like it was so much work just cutting the videos together for that. But that's why there's a dude usually at a podcast like off the screen, because now you can just kind of like switch with a button. Like big studios can have like a button to switch cameras.
Yeah, and they're getting there's some different tools now. I've looked a little bit into them.
Like the auto ones where like when this mic gets volume, cut to this camera.
Yeah.
And when that mic gets volume, cut to that one.
We're gonna start seeing more of that stuff eventually.
Yeah. Dude, CapCut, this like TikTok editor, it's so stupid easy. I don't know for like long form stuff, but you can take a video and be like, that's why you start to see all this recycled content. Like, it'll be a video of like a thing comes up and spins around, and there's like pictures in each one of these little things spinning, and in the background it's got like another picture, and it's like got a song like going, and like it cuts with the music and stuff.
Okay.
Someone just made that template. And then, so like anybody, like my grandma could just pick up her phone and be like, I want these fun videos for my vacation. And you just select all the videos you want and hit go. And it puts them all in there and adds them into the thing. They're all cut with the music.
And it's like a little
it just does it all for
Quick
you.
video.
It'll do captions for you now. Like, so you can be like, you know, if you see, like, if you've ever tried to do captions without auto captions, like, if I go, hello, what's going on? How are you doing? I would have to go in and add a title section, type in what I said there, make sure it's this time that I said it, then go add another one. Probably what I said.
Oh, it's exhausting.
And it's almost impossible. But
I know what you're talking about.
trying to caption something.
And that's if you get it right first try, but then you're picky and you're like, no, I got to move it a little
You gotta
bit.
move it.
And then you can't do that.
Now TikTok, will you go analyze vocals, and it puts all the thing on there. It'll do like all your shit, but it all looks the same. It looks like everybody else's. There's not a lot of creative freedom in there, but like it will. I used to use it just for captioning. So for like a minute video, like you want captions in case they can't listen to the music, but it would like caption for you. And I'm like,
That's brilliant.
this used to be a fucking job. This used to be somebody's job, and now it's like an app on your phone that's free.
And it does it automatically in
Yeah,
seconds.
and it'll be like to put fire behind somebody and like move with you. Used to be like you'd have to rotoscope it and like match it, like track it, like keyframe it all the way in, and like have some sort of flame that fits. Now it's it sees your face and puts a fucking mask on your face. It can make you have blue eyes.
That shit's so funny.
And it used to be so fucking hard. But, you know, of course, it'll never be like, it might be. But right now, it doesn't like match a professional that can do it. But it's so easy for like, if you're just throwing a video, like, not every video you make is your grand opus. Sometimes you're just making a 1 minute video to remind people that you are a band and
Yeah.
you have a song coming out. So you just make a silly video.
In fact, most of it, like the more that you do, it's like hardly any of it's going to be your big stuff.
Yeah.
Like the broad spectrum of all of it is this quick stuff where
Just
where you need these quick tools that can just do it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
You want somebody to go, oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah.
Cool. Their album's coming out again.
That's right.
Soon or
That's
whatever.
Right.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
That's right.
Or they're on tour again. Yeah. There's when was that dates again? You know, just reminders.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Oh, it's funny. He ate a bunch of cake or something. He's licking his lips in a weird way or something. And then you have your videos and stuff. It's complicated and it's kind of disheartening with like, it's almost like people keep saying, and that's not what I'm saying, but like podcasting equipment is too cheap. Cause like it used to be like,
The barrier to entry was higher.
so like somebody had to really want it. And now like somebody can just like put their phone up
and now you're a podcast.
and now you're a podcaster. So it's kind of like,
It kind of makes me wonder, like, where do I fall into this? I'm like,
no, you've got it.
I'm like,
You've got it. Like
at
you
least
can tell
it's-
you've put time into it, and you're not just like doing stupid shit, you know.
yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cool. No,
But like,
I appreciate that, but
like, you know, like it's
it's budget and somewhat amateur. But then, I mean, I've seen new podcasts come in with like big people who are famous or whatever, and they get a following right away. But their production is like lesser than mine.
yeah.
As far as like sound.
Pawn
Like
Stars?
maybe their video. My video's all right. I'm intentionally going lo-fi
Lo-fi?
with the video.
Some
'Cause
lo-fi?
I just want one angle because I don't want to do all that editing.
Yeah.
But I like it to sound good.
That's
So I like the mics, and these are just cheap ass
they sound good.
Behringer mics.
Behringer
Yeah, I think so.
Ultra Voice is what I saw earlier.
Yeah. Behringer, Ultra Voice.
You want to know something about Behringer?
Yes, I want to know something about Behringer.
Okay. Now I can't tell you like the exact thing, but Behringer's parent company is called something music something.
Is it Midas? What's up with Midas?
Midas is one of their preamps.
Okay.
And I don't know if they have just marketed it so well that they're like, we have our famous Midas preamps, and they've said it so much that people just assume that other people also agree with that.
Because I've looked at those Behringer XR mixers.
And they're like, they're our famous Midas preamps.
And then there's the Behringer one, and then there's the Midas one, and they're the exact same.
Well, look-
but one of them's Midas, one of them's Behringer. One of them's $500. The other one's $900.
So-
I'm like, what?
Midas is their preamps in those.
Okay.
The Midas preamp.
Okay.
For like your XLR that goes into it. I'm not sure like the difference in between the Air and maybe it just has the preamps built in. But like Behringer makes all of the a lot of the components for music gear. So like a pedal, like the little chip that goes in a pedal that makes it sound like a distortion, or the little diodes. They make all those, and I could be wrong on exactly what it is, but they make a bunch of the
regular components,
the guts for shit. So
the
like
thing that these other brands are using,
so
the
like
bigger brands.
Yeah, so like Boss, or again, I'm just like,
or Shure or Sennheiser, or
so like
anything.
So like say JHS pedals, like they'll buy their chips and their circuit boards from Behringer, right?
Yep.
And Behringer sells all those little components, right? And then Behringer goes, we got all these parts. So they just take those same parts that they sold to JHS and just put them in their box, and it's the same shit. It's the same stuff. He soldered it. This one. Behringer solder, puts it in a plastic case and sells it for $30.
Yeah.
And even the guy from that's why like JHS was saying like that's what they do.
Transparency.
He's like, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They're the same pedal, and especially pedals, you cannot copyright a schematic for a pedal. So like, I can open up any of those pedals. He has some pedals sitting on the ground over there. I can open up any of those, look at all those parts, and completely copy it perfectly with the same parts from Behringer, and put it together and put it in a box. I can't copy like your logo or your design on the thing, but I can take it and make it into another box and then sell it as a boob screamer. Yeah, instead of a tube screamer.
Nice, dude. That would sell.
A boob screamer. Yeah,
it would totally sell.
Just has some tits on it,
Yeah.
And then
tube screamer, more like boob screamer,
more like boob screamer. But you can it's the same thing, and it's kind of one of those things where like a guitar was the wood aged, does it have this kind of thing? Like you can have variations in a guitar, but an electrical signal goes into a capacitor and it goes from 1 to 2. There's no like, oh, but it was hand soldered. None of that matters that's why like pedals are kind of like a Behringer pedal. It's literally the exact same thing as a tube screamer. They're the same, and if I could be wrong, I'm just gonna say it. If anybody like, you fucking idiot.
Technically,
but I mean, like 1 watt is 1 watt, or like 1 volt is 1 volt, and if you push that up to 2, it goes to 2. It's the same thing. You're the same components.
There can be some minute variation somehow.
But maybe like dust on it or something.
But in general, no. In principle, I think I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
That it doesn't have this analog character like a tube amp or the tone woods of guitars and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, like a tube could be like, oh, well, this tube has like it varies different.
Like, let's say if you have 2 of the same amps, tube amps, one of them might sound different because one of them's older or one's been played more, or the tubes something. There's some weird.
Like a guitar could it could have had a knot in the wood, and that somehow makes it vibrate different, or the wire wrapped around the pickup has 4 extra wraps,
or it's tighter or looser, or just something.
But like it's just a very low voltage going through a bunch of little components. I could just be wrong. This is I could just be fucking lying.
But in theory, it makes sense though. Yeah. So back to Behringers, that so a lot of these components, it's funny because these could be like, this is a microphone, for instance. So the components in this microphone could be some of the the same ones in components in a SM57 or a 58 or a
so like
or anything else.
It could be like the same case.
Yeah,
it's very close.
It's close.
It could have the same little like and again, I don't know for everything, but in theory it could have the same. And Shure maybe goes, well, we hand because there's like wax in the bottom of this thing. Like we hand put the wax in there to ensure that it's completely sealed.
Ensure.
Yeah, and Behringer, we just have a machine that just drops a goop, and that saves us $50 a mic, so we sell them for whatever they call it, Yep. It could be that, but it could very well be all the same. Same thing with cables. People would be like gold tipped. Yeah. I have a friend at work. He's like, dude, I got the gold tipped HDMI.
Mogami, whatever the hell, or
And,
Monster.
And while gold tip is good for corrosion, but it doesn't enhance. It's like, especially like an HDMI cable, it'll like keep it from corroding. And I hope I'm not sounding like pretentious saying these things. This is just kind of, and I could be wrong, right? But like gold tip, like HDMI is digital. Like a gold tip HDMI isn't going to change it's just ones and zeros.
Yeah.
This one is on or off switch, right? So
It's not going to affect the quality of signal.
but it might.
All it's going to do
it's
is
in the, you know,
the hardware might last longer and withstand more of a beating or more wear and tear, but it's not going to change the signal.
yeah, like a guitar,
For better or for worse.
like a mic cable, like you could have better shielding on the inside, but like that's not really like, you take two brand new, a Mogami cable and a Planet Waves, if they're both working perfectly, it's going to send the same signal.
Yeah.
But this one might last longer or have a more durable clip
From
here.
being plugged and unplugged.
plugged
or
and unplugged. I almost
just
unplugged it.
depends on what you're doing, I guess, how often you're using it.
And again, I could be wrong. I'm a totally.
But hey, I could just be lying.
I could just be lying to you guys. You never know anymore.
Well, it's good to be a skeptic, not all the time, like to just be contrarian to everything and just to disagree. Yeah,
yeah.
But no, it is good to question and just kind of wonder, like, well, why? What is the difference? And you know, if you can make a Behringer, like these mics, I think they were like literally $20. And when I was starting, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have 3 or 4. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I think I got 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck it, I could get 3 of them for $60
And still have money left over.
when one SM57 or 58 or maybe a Sennheiser or something else, or don't even get me started on the SM7B, like the podcast standards, right? Like Rogan and the 9 Club and
everybody has
everybody, you know. And then you have to have that cloud preamp, the cloud.
Michael Jackson did
the cloud lifter.
That's what he's sang into, is this SM7B.
That is
And
the
Metallica.
microphone.
Yeah.
And I want one, just like you want one. I want one.
That's what I've got, all the condensers. I've had all the stuff. I'm
Being
just
a regular guy though with a podcast or something, I'm like, I'm not gonna get
I have
2 of those bitches.
I have the 57 version. Well, no, it's not Behringer. It's Pile.
Okay.
I have the 57. I have a bunch of those. I bought. They're $15.
Of the SM7B replicas?
No, the SM57.
The 57
which is
replica.
just the same kind of mic.
Okay.
But
Because I have a 57, but I'm talking about the SM7B, the big ones.
yeah, the big one. Yeah.
Those are like $400.
Those are expensive.
And then a lot of them are like they don't produce enough gain or something. Like
you
the
have to have
headroom,
the cloud lifter.
the cloud lift, and you're like, okay, now I'm looking at $500.
No,
a
you're an
mic.
extra $100. Well, they just came out with the SM7DB.
Okay, and that's got the hotter
It's got the cloud lifter in the mic.
built in.
But then you're like, does it sound the same?
And then it's still $500.
Yeah. Shootout. Yeah. Better mic. Awkward thumbnail. Does the 7F whatever, you know. But yeah,
But the point is though, it's like I think these sound fine.
they sound fine.
It's a compression and a little EQ.
Yeah.
Scoop the mids.
Yeah.
Just for this application, in my opinion, like that honky, like weird honky
Honk,
nasally, is just scoop that out, and a little bit of bass, a little bit of treble. You can hear a little bit of this. There's a little bit of the harsh
A little crisp.
sibilance, but
But you want that crispiness.
it's real crisp.
Yes, super and crisp. 7 of Saudi Arabian settlements. Oh, I can't do it like that. I can just do the tongue part. 7 suckers.
At least you can do it though. A lot of people, sometimes I'll do that, and people are like, "How the hell are you doing
Dude,
that?"
my friend used to do that because the guy from Family Guy did it. He was like, "Sweet Jesus," you know. And I was like, "Dude, how do you do that?" He said, he told me, he goes,
for Jesse.
"Yeah, jackpot." He said, he was like, "Just start doing it, trying to do it, and eventually you'll just start being able to do it." And I was like, "Shut up, now I can do it. You just gotta keep." It would just start doing it.
There's
Start
a
working.
technique to it, yeah.
7.
It's like a curling the tongue or something. It's funny because it's mostly S sounds and then like CH sounds, but every now and then there's one that doesn't make sense at all. And like the one I could think of is White Sands Missile Range, because I said that on the way back.
Range.
White Sands Missile Range. Like I had to say it again. I was all range.
I guess you could be
My
like,
brother and I started dying laughing. We were at the end of this long ass road trip. Like we've been on the road, and we went to Death Valley and back, and all this stuff. And we finally get like almost an hour outside of home. Like we're crossing Las Cruces. And also, we're starting to see signs for White Sands Missile Range. And then also range. And then we just started dying laughing because it's like, it's typically like an S sound or a CH or
Range.
something, but range.
Range.
Like-
I guess because your mouth kind of goes into the S. Range.
Like orange.
Ship.
Orange.
Range.
Curb. Orange.
I don't know why that's so funny.
I don't know either.
Dude, you know what I thought about the other day is how would you say, you're supposed to say like an apple or a boat.
Okay.
Like you have an and or a depending on the vowel, right?
Yep.
So how would you say unicorn?
Probably a unicorn.
But it's a vowel. You use a vowel, so you're supposed to say an.
And unicorn. Yeah, that's weird.
Isn't that weird? It's a, and like English, it was just like I had to look it up. It's a unicorn. They're like, oh, that one's just different. There's no reason.
It's because it's a unicorn. That's why it's different.
It's because it's a unicorn.
Fuckers.
And unicorn. It's a unicorn. It was weird to me. Maybe that wasn't as cool as a story I thought.
No, it's interesting, man.
And unicorn.
And unicorn.
7 of Saddam's Saudi Arabian settlements on Sunday were secretly.
I think you're pretty good at it. That's awesome.
I've been doing it for 20 years now. Super. I just can't do the. Yeah, yours is like a
Bunch of bitches.
like a.
It was funny because we were saying it so quiet. Like some of the in betweens were like mumbled, where you just keep hearing this whistle transient, like, and you're like, "What the fuck is he saying?" Yeah, from somebody else, like in the hallway, they'd be like, "What's he whistling about?"
I love that. Yeah, dude, these mics are fine. That's what it's like. Like, I think
They're great. I would like to just do like a shootout or something and put this on the cabinet, or like do it vocals, or just
dude.
because I guarantee they were literally like $20, and they come with a nice case. I'm like, dude,
Like a plastic case?
Yeah, a nice plastic case with foam in it and stuff.
Jeez.
I was pretty impressed.
Sure, maybe comes with a bag. If
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There's this guy on YouTube, and he only made a couple videos, but they kind of blew up, and he was like, where does the tone come from in a guitar? And he was like, scientifically was like doing the shit, and he ended up getting to where like he had the guitar on a table, like the bridge here, and like the nut on another table, and nothing in between, and the pickup just sitting there. And he was like, putting in analyzers, like bring, bring. He's like, it's the pickup, like that's where. And then he did mics, and he like, you have to watch. It's hard for me to just like explain it, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I agree with the guy, but like he went through and like he's like, is it the cable? Is it this part? Is it
the housing? Is it the capsule? Is it the diaphragm?
Condenser? Whatever.
Whatever.
He even went to like the studio and got every mic, and like he had this like rig set up with like a wire on a speaker to where like it was every capsule was dead center on the same spot on the same speaker, wasn't like moving, like it was held in place, everything. And he did all this stuff, and he was like, at the very end, he's like, here's my favorite mic that was used on my favorite album, and he goes, this one is in a soda can. It was like a soda can with like cheap little like condenser parts on the top of it, and he played them back and forth, and I was like, I can't tell if I could do it. And if you're getting down to the point where like you're arguing over, does the $20 mic sound better than the $10,000 like Sony mic, and you're going,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Is it though?
Yeah, at that point.
Then you're like, no, the 20 mic sounds a lot better, because then you have $9,880 left, or 90.
At that point,
whatever.
What are we fucking doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, even if you do go, oh, that one's got a better like. If
Now you have a great mic and a used car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was like. I was kind of like, man, I'm over. Even me recording my live stuff, I would just put up a 58.
Yep.
And record into it, put my guitar direct into my audio interface, record it, and it sounded better than when I set up a whole mic and got in the closet and got in the closet, got in my closet with all the shirts. It was like real, completely dead in there, pop filter, set everything right, sang into my nice really nice mic, and then my SM57 just sounds more natural, and I was just like, "Fuck are we?
What are we doing?
What are we fucking doing? Why am I not making music? Why am I worried about the fucking mic?
Yeah, and the setting and yeah.
What am I doing?"
I did that one time too. I set up this makeshift vocal booth. I had like some panels. It was a slightly different arrangement. It was right here. It was right in there in this space, and I stacked up some panels around me and made like a vocal booth kind of out of these, just makeshift. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even need to do that. Like, I mean,
And you listen back and you're like,
it came out fine, but it wouldn't
Yeah.
have made any difference.
yeah, I don't hear any room
I'm
in
like-
this.
Yeah, I'm like, I could have just sang in the room. Like, it's just fine.
Yeah.
Even that little goofy ass, like wind filter, like the mic, the little half circle thing.
Yeah.
Those are cool, but it's still,
You know what?
it's just marketing. It's just like,
check this out.
what the fuck did I buy that for? You know?
Some
It was
guy-
like, I bought it a long time ago before I knew about any of this
Dude,
stuff much. But
Everybody has one of those. I have one of those.
Yeah.
Some guy came in my shop and like had one,
it's kind of cool.
and he was like he sold it. I ended up buying it. And I
It
was
does
like,
a little something, but not much.
But check this out. Check this out. If you think about it, just think, and I could be wrong. I'm just going to preface everything that I say could be completely fucking wrong. The mic picks up that way.
Yeah. I know where you're going with this,
The
and you're
sound
correct.
dampening is behind the mic.
Yeah.
If that's a figure 8 mic, it'll block off the sound behind you. But it's,
That's not what you're going to be using.
I guess maybe it can block it from bouncing off the wall and then hitting that wall and then coming back into the mic.
yeah.
But it would make more sense if the thing was behind your
Behind
head.
you. Yeah.
I guess.
Sort of.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
It would almost make more sense. Like, this is way more sound dampening. So,
Yeah.
So instead of having that little thing around you, you could just put a mic. It'd actually be better to do what you were saying, though, is just have one of these behind you.
Yeah. So like all this stuff, like maybe like a condenser, but these reject sound from this way. Like they're built that way
To just pick up this.
it's
Cardioid?
It's a cardioid, so it's only picking up like this.
Yeah.
So it's rejecting all the sound that's dampening already.
Yep. Just saying.
But I still put mine up.
Yeah. I mean, I already have it now, so I'm like, I'm not
Might
gonna
as well. Might as well
I'm not
put it
gonna
up.
like, yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. But like that's the thing about like music and gear stuff. I like it's so much like what is
Some of the gear makes all the difference, and some of it is just negligible.
yeah. Like I can
Like
tell.
good cymbals or something, right? It's
I
like,
can tell the difference in like a shit pickup and like when I put a new pickup in my guitar, like
there you go.
I had
That's a big
a
difference.
shitty like Seymour Duncan in my telly, and I got a I think it was Seymour Duncan, but it was like one of the like mass produced that they just put in a bunch of guitars. It wasn't like a actual one you could buy, and I bought like little hot rails and put it in my telly, and it was like a new guitar, and I was like, guitar sounds better because the other pickup it never sounded good. That and you can tell the difference between like if you have, and even drums. If you really think about it, if you just put really nice heads on them,
Yeah, the shells. How far is the shells gonna go? You know?
like how much is this thing vibrating? How much is the wood vibrating? Does it? I mean, I don't know. Does the shell make a difference? It sounds cool to say this is a maple and it's got 3 layers of birch on alternating layers, which causes the high end to be more pronounced and the mid range to be more punchy.
Yeah.
But is it the shape of the drum or the drum head?
That freaking drum set's like Poplar or something. It's a very low end, like Gretsch.
Yeah?
It came like with like the whole drum set in a box, kind of.
Okay.
Like it was one of those, not a throne, but cymbals and hardware.
Oh,
You
it
know,
had cymbals.
Cymbals and hardware, and like
That's rare.
and it's kind of There's some 5-piece like rock kits you can get, but it's Gretsch Energy. It's like a lower, but dude, I mean that thing sounds fucking good, and it always has sounded good ever since I got it. And Gretsch is like higher end, pretty like good stuff. And,
Yeah.
But that one's like a pretty low end one, because I was gonna get a guitar one time, and I was like, I should just get the drums because I'm not even a drummer. But I was like, I'll just have them. That way, when my friend comes by, like we'll have the chance, Because I have
Yeah.
a drummer friend, and he was back and forth between Phoenix and stuff, and I'm like, it'd be worth it just to have, even when he comes to town on the holidays, so we could write some stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I was all, in the meantime, I can fuck around with it and
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like,
You learned?
it was like $700 or something, which is no chump change. But I was like, instead of just buying another guitar at the time, I was like, I should just get the drums. I can get another guitar later on down the road. But if I have the money to spend, so I just got it, and I've added to it. Now that's not the drums that came out of the box. That I mean, that is, but I've added to it with the cymbals and the just like then upgraded the
Pedals
heads and
and
put the
stuff.
kick port in, and the double pedal and a new throne and stuff. So it's had some upgrades, but essentially it's a fairly cheap drum set. To just go back to your point that you can make. I mean, it sounds good, you know, like any other. There's drum sets that are way more expensive than that. Like that's low end.
I've seen
That's considered a cheap drum set, and it sounds fucking good.
I've seen some really good drum sets that sounded like ass.
Like cardboard boxes,
or
and
just
stuff.
like bad tuned, like shit. I'm just like, man, this is a DW. What are you doing, dog?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing here, dude? Tighten that snare up. Fucking tighten that thing. You got a loose? Are you a loose snare guy?
Tight snare.
Gotta have a tight snare. To me, pops a little more.
Yeah.
Some people like the loose.
Tight snare, and like you said, with the punch and the
That's it.
tighten all the heads with the punch.
And look, here's the thing. I can admit this.
Kick drum included.
Yeah, kick drum, everything.
Yeah.
I can admit this.
Except the snare.
Yeah, you like tune it and shit.
Well,
I just tighten it till it sounds good.
yeah, tighten it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying
don't do
in
the-
general, instead of just being that's where it's at. The snare is the only one that's like a little bit more like. My friend usually helps me with the snare. The one drummer guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, do the snare for me.
Tighten my snare up, dude. I know you're supposed to go boom, 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 and I have been playing music for longer than I have not. I know how pitches work. I know how to tune a guitar by ear. I know when something's out of tune. I fucking cannot hear the difference when I'm banging around trying to match each lug. And I've tried my entire life. I've played drums. That's my main instrument out of everything. I cannot fucking do it. I've tried 1,000. That's why I just started doing the punch thing. When I saw that, I was like, all right, because I cannot fucking hear the difference.
Yeah.
I cannot.
I almost want to play that Rob Brown video for you sometime, man, because he's just like that guy. I was telling you at your shop, but he's like, man, you're gonna be in the back of a club, and like you ain't gonna be able to hear shit or see nothing, and you're gonna be dragging your drums in and out of dark places and stuff, and you're gonna need a tune. And he was how you gonna do it. And he's like, you just gonna push the center of the drum head, you go finger tight, and then they're gonna take the wrinkles out, and it's gonna sound great.
I might have watched the same one.
And I took that advice from him like years ago, and like I said, I got those drums in, had no idea. I'd never even assembled a drum kit. That was the first time. My friend, the same drummer guy I'm talking about, he had his drum set at my house for a while.
Yeah.
So I knew a little bit about him because I'd see him play all the time, and then like he left him there for like several months, you know, like in and out of jam sessions and stuff, and I'd mess with him, but I never like assembled them or put them together, considered tuning them or anything. So I just followed Rob Brown's advice and just did the drum punch and take the ripples out, and it sounds so good. I couldn't believe how good it sounded.
And you're like,
I was like, this is
damn.
the best drums I've ever heard. I was like, what the fuck? How am I going to order a $700 cheap, like out of the box, full kit with cymbals included from Musician's Friend, have it delivered to the door, and then just with the stock heads on it, it sounds like cannons compared to. I'm like, Rob Brown is on some shit. Like,
That's it.
he just schooled me, dude.
That's it, dude. We need to spread the word.
Spread the word, dude.
Make a T-shirt that says that. Just push it in. Just push it in and get the wrinkles out. That's it.
That's it.
'Cause, I don't know, man. That's great advice. That guy had great advice. I might have watched the same video. Maybe the guy was like in a studio doing it. He was like, let's do this, quit doing that. Shit. But then there'll be people that'll be like, no, like
This is semitones.
if you hear the overtones on this, if you take the snare and it needs to be, because people even like will say like the drums need to be tuned to notes, and like DW is like this drum is it resonates the way we intend it to sound at a D sharp, and this is an A sharp. And I'm just like,
bro.
What are we doing? What's happening?
Yeah, it's not a melodic instrument, and
No,
it's just not. It's rhythmic, and
I just want like, I'm a like a 2-time guy, maybe 3. I'll have a third tom over here sometimes if I have the room, but like, I just wanted to go, boom, kind of a higher pitch here, and then the low one to go, boom,
yep.
and then snare, pop. That's it. Like, that's it. I've never.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's all you need.
boom, boom. Yeah, like, I don't want to go boom, boom. That's
Yep.
it. That's it. But who am I? Who am I to tell you how to
Just a
change it?
guy who's been playing drums forever. So you started on drums? How we?
I started drums. Like my cousins had a drum set. They and like my uncle played like back in. He wasn't like playing, but he was just he played when he was a kid and stuff like that. And they had a drum set out one day, and I sat down at it, and I was like, boom, boom, and I was like, that's it.
I like this.
That's
I
it.
feel this.
And I didn't stop. So I did drums, and then I played at church, and I was like, I obsessed about anything. Like when I got into photography, it just like I'm
Took
100% into it till I'm like feel like I can't go any further with it, or like where I can sit back and like let it ride. But I did drums. I saw a guy playing guitar at church, and I was like, that's badass. I remember the lick, the riff, and everything he was playing. And I was like, oh, I can be out front, and I don't have to carry
All this stuff.
all this shit. You
Yeah.
know? And I can like kind of walk around stage and stuff. And then I was like writing songs, and I was like, how do you, this is like, internet was like dial up, like Eminem.com. It was like, oh, cool, Eminem's got a website. It's stupid shit. Like there's nothing on the internet.
Nothing. Yeah.
And so like I did, I found this I was like, how do you record music? And I thought you just recorded everything. Like somebody just put a microphone in the room and the band played,
Okay.
Yeah. And then my brother was like, oh, I got this program called Cool Edit Pro, which is now Adobe Audition.
Okay.
And it was a multi-track recorder. And I was like, oh,
So it's done in sections.
it's like, I was like, I can record a guitar. I did like Crazy Train. Da-da, 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 but having both parts play.
Yeah.
And that blew my fucking mind. I was like,
yes.
oh shit. So I just started recording. I had like a little, those old mics that kind of stuck to the side of the big ass computers, and it looked like Bob Barker mic,
Okay.
right? And I would just like put it on the kick drum and go, and then put it on the snare and do the snare part, and then put it over the hi-hat and do it like that, because I only had one mic.
All right.
I guess I could have played them all. I don't know why I did it like that, but I did them individually.
Individually, and then comped it together.
Yeah, and that got me into recording, and then recording, once you start like getting, as computers get better, I'm like, oh, I can plug in my old little Radio Shack keyboard because it's got a MIDI port, and I was like, oh, I can play all this fucking shit on the thing now. So I was like, I don't know, it just kept evolving into but yeah, I started on drums, and then recording was more of a necessity because I couldn't afford to record my songs. It was like $5,000.
Yeah. Like getting to go into a studio and do it.
Yeah,
and then you have to have a band, unless you're playing all the parts.
Yeah, and then I didn't even really know, like, I didn't even do $5,000. I remember people like other bands in the area.
Yeah.
And the guy there, I know the guy. I had him on my show. Like the guy that would do all that stuff, fantastic. I was just like, how does anybody afford this? $5,000 for 5 songs? I was like, I don't even know how to do that. So that's how I got into recording and stuff. But
Yeah, and
I'll do it
recording
myself.
is the rabbit hole that you never really come out of.
yeah,
Because
and you can always be right or wrong about everything.
it's like you said with the gear being a separate part of music.
Yeah.
Like it's its own. I remember I was gonna bring this up earlier, but I forgot. Like a musician's friend catalog, I'd
Yeah.
get those, and in the beginning, I'd only look at the guitars.
Uh-huh.
I'd look at all the guitar sections.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe the bass. I'd see the drums a little bit, maybe.
Just
But
swiping through.
almost
yeah,
all guitars, the actual catalogs.
yeah.
And then at some point,
Those were great. I miss getting that in the mail
Yeah,
every
the
day.
catalogs. Like I still order Thrasher magazine. It's the only like physical copy of like I get a new Thrasher and I'm like sick full.
Dude,
you know?
I wish they still had like Musicians Friends, CCS.
They.
Yeah, you
I
know?
got rid of all my CCSs. I should have kept some of those because it'd be kind of fun to dig through those again and just see all the old shit from back then.
Be like, I'm getting this skateboard.
Yeah,
These
circle
bearings.
it. Send out an order form. It'd be funny to have like a retro, like a CCS from like 2000.
Yeah.
And then just like fill out the snail mail order form and send it
send
to
it
them
in?
with a SKU, an old SKU, and they're like, bro, like we don't have those anymore.
They don't make Birdhouse. I don't know if they make Birdhouse.
Well, they definitely make Birdhouse, but there's some shit they don't though. Yeah, like who knows? But yeah, I would only look at the guitar section of Musician's Friend. But then with this whole studio stuff, eventually I just started getting intrigued with all of it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, look at all the, like what stuff that I would never even look at
A
before.
power conditioner.
Like yeah, mixers and live sound or recording and like microphones. It's like when I was a kid, I never looked at the microphones.
Yeah, that was like what
fuck
the
am I gonna look at microphones?
that's the dude
for?
in the back. He does that stuff.
Yeah, I
Playing
wanted
guitar.
I just had no interest in any of that, and then I found myself almost not looking at the guitars because I already had the guitars and stuff I wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm over here looking at like the audio interfaces and the microphones and all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other stuff.
This rack unit can hold 16 1U racks.
Exactly.
I could get a whole bunch of rack gear and put it next to and it'd be great because I'd have a compressor, an outboard compressor, and a preamp, and that would solve all of my problems.
Yes.
I have everything just sounds good now. Is that a compressor over there?
That is it's a studio channel strip,
Channel strip?
and it's a compressor and EQ
Yeah. So I started looking.
and a preamp. So it's kind of like an all-in-one little outboard unit.
You know, I've
It
started.
sweetens up the sound a little bit for like a vocal or something, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
I've kind of,
But it's kind of cool.
thinking about like having a compressor on the way in, maybe not doing an out. Like, I've used external gear where like you route
it
through a patch
through.
bay and all that stuff. But like, if you have like a compressor on the way in, you sing different.
It's baked in.
And like, so like when the singer's singing with a compressor, they're listening to themselves being compressed,
And
they
it affects the performance.
the performance
in a positive way.
Yes, because then they can be like
Like your auto-tune. No,
like the
callback. What is it, Seinfeld? No.
Hey, but like so like maybe like that stuff, like maybe having like
I
on
think
the
it's
way
good.
in
It's
is good, yeah.
because like with this board right here, I have the compressor. It's a one knob compressor. It's just
more or less.
more or less.
Yeah.
Super easy to use, and I use quite a bit of it for the vocals because I like the way it sounds on the talking audio podcast.
And that's on your board, right?
And it's right on the board, but it is the one thing that's baked in. Like when you do mix down on that, like I can mix it down later.
Yeah.
I won't. I'll basically just mix it down with this same sound. I'm not gonna really go through it because I already EQ'd it the way I like
yeah.
it. I'm not gonna be able to really do much more.
They put
But,
reverb on it, yeah.
but in order to mix it down, because right now the board is seeing all those channels.
Yeah.
Now only 2 of them are on to the mains, but it's not a stereo file mix down yet. It's just. So what you have to do with that in order to get a stereo mix down is go back and like record it as a stereo file. Like
Okay.
the final. That's where you would do like your mix.
Uh-huh.
Like your mix down. Now I won't actually mix down. I'll just set it, and this thing will be like 2 or 3 hours or whatever it is, and I'll just hit record and I'll just do other stuff.
Oh,
And
jeez. You
eventually,
can't just like bounce it out?
no.
Oh, weird.
Maybe there's some way to do it, but it's just recording what's there. Maybe those files are somewhere in there, and I could just grab
If
them
you're
and
recording,
drag
it
them.
should be, it's saved into the board, right?
It's like, well, it's on an SD card, so maybe they're like individual track files. But what you can do, let's say if we were doing like videos or bringing other stuff in, like you could mix it later if you want.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the only thing that's baked in is the compression because it's like dynamics processing, like
On the way in?
on the way in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you can't, like I can't change the amount of compression later.
But you could change the EQ?
I could change the EQ.
Weird. I wonder why just the compressor.
I was wondering that too, and they said something because it's like part of your initial signal, almost like gain staging. Like,
Oh, okay.
like you're setting the gain, you're not going to go back and change the gain. And the compression is almost like an extension of the gain staging in a way, like when you're setting levels or something.
Yeah.
So they just like made that part of like the.
It's just part of it, huh?
I don't know. It's weird. That's like it's like the EQs after.
But it's not a very aggressive compressor anyway.
No.
Because like if it was, you'd hear
Like a pump.
Well, you just hear like every fucking thing in the room. If you turn a compressor up really, like you'll start hearing room noise. It's just like it's like you don't ever really hear it. You just hear like anything outside or like
Yeah.
that would sound like
It's really hot, like
Yeah.
a condenser mic, all like super sensitive.
start hearing.
I didn't realize what it was for, but the best it was explained. Someone was talking about telephones.
Yeah.
Like compression started because of like phones, because like to like normalize the audio. That way, if someone was like really loud on the phone, it wouldn't like kill you, or if they were really
blow the
quiet,
speaker
you could
out.
still hear them. So they were squashing something to do with telephones and radio and stuff. But it's interesting, like where all these
Compression is
effects
great.
come from. But one of the main uses for it, like practical, was like phones.
The telephone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
To like normalize the signal based on the chaotic, random dynamics you'd get from people using the phone. I mean, people will still rip your ear off,
Yeah,
but at least it's not as bad.
This podcast brought to you by Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the phonograph telephone.
Insane.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I know EQ had some weird. It was like even like a lot of effects like phaser and
Flanger and phaser and
or like
rotary,
what's the other one? It's called
vibrato.
it's not vibrato. It's just like vibrato or something. It's called a
It's not rotary.
it's not rotary, but it's like a version of phase. Oh, it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
Damn it.
But anyways, it was like radio signals were getting crossed over, and this like guy was like listening to it, and he's like, "How do I make my guitar do that?" And that's what he was doing. Fuck, what is it called? As soon as it's too late,
Yes.
I'll remember that.
Yep, of course. Can't remember what I've forgotten.
That's called presque vu. You got deja vu and presque vu is like tip of the tongue.
Presque-vu.
I could be wrong.
We could be lying to you.
I saw a Vsauce video and he talked about it. He said that's what it was. Tip of the tongue, presque vu, like deja vu. What is it called? What is it called?
That effect. Damn.
It's like, I don't know. Oh well.
So you've done a lot of cool shit in Alamo, though. It's been definitely good. I'm not trying to like shoo us off or nothing, but like maybe to somewhat start bringing it home at least a little bit is you did a lot of cool stuff, man. You were here for like what, 3 years?
3 years,
You had the music shop.
roughly.
You did a few collaborations with a couple of people.
Yes.
You had the music store. You
Had a music
sold some gear. You did people some favors. Like kind of had a place, like a little bit of a hub. Had some good conversations with all kinds of people.
Yeah.
What else, man? Like
I did the radio.
you played out a lot too.
Yeah.
575 and Lowe's and
With 575 Lowe's. I played at Cloudcroft Brewery.
you did a shred collab with Bart or like a guitar battle.
Did a guitar battle with Bart. I did a song with Emily. I can't pronounce her last name.
Like Dakina or something.
Yeah, something like I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah.
Emily D.
Emily D.
I did a song with her, but I was wanting to do a song with everybody. Like I had them like picked out and stuff. It just time ran out. You know.
Of course. Yeah.
That's what I was hoping to get a song with everybody. I was on 107.9 Cool FM.
Cool FM.
The classic hits of the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
That's pretty cool. So you would go in and like record.
Yeah, I would do. I did the morning show on Saturdays and Sundays sometimes, and fill in during the
So
week.
you must have worked with maybe like Jeremy Patton. Do you know that guy?
Yeah, he was the mid shift guy.
He's cool.
Yeah.
I've known him for a long time, and I know.
He was like his voice. They told me it was different because radio used to just be like, "Welcome back, 105.7 for the Fox," and he was like, "Stop doing that." He's like, "People don't want that anymore." For like my station manager, but Jeremy he would always say 107.9, 10.
Whatever.
10. You could tell.
Nice.
Yeah.
I forget who else worked there, but
There's him and a guy named Kevin.
okay.
And then Joe was like the station manager for that one.
Was that right there off like South Florida somewhere?
Yeah, it's right behind Granada.
Okay.
Just Granada,
Right by your place.
Right by my place.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was one of those bucket things I've always wanted to be on the radio, or do a really I'd like a podcast, or like like a morning show.
Okay.
Where like they call and prank people and like talk about funny stuff, and that's kind of thing.
Your whatever of the week, like just bullshit.
Yeah. We're calling up fucking this guy because he see if his girlfriend really loves him, or whatever it was, that kind of stuff. I like that. I like that a lot, and that taught me how to talk, like
this radio job.
This radio job, because it was like me going in there for I got it down to about an hour a show, because I don't work there anyway. It's not live.
Yeah.
They stopped doing live a long time ago, so you just record your bits into
Of course.
but they still want you to think it's live. Like, so you kind of got to act like it's live. But like, it taught me to be able to go, like, hand me a piece of paper and I can read it and not go, the next thing that we are talking about today is the 4th of July. It sounds weird.
Yeah.
I could just be like, up next, and then I could just read something.
Got to talk like it's natural.
And I could just talk. I could just talk without going like blah blah fumbling, and that helped me a lot. Like, so like being on video, I can just talk now.
Nice.
Not that I'm like saying I'm great at it, but it really helped going in there once a week for an hour and just straight talking and reading, and you can't cut. Each one is its one recording. If you mess up, you got to start all the way over.
Yep.
So like if you're reading for 4 minutes and you get to the end and go 107 fuck 5, you have to start the
over.
whole thing over. You can't
Yeah.
just like cut that apart. That helped. I really like that.
Nice.
But yeah, I liked Alamo. I wish I could have stayed here longer. I wish I could have gotten to. I'm bad socially. Like, I'm not good social. Like, I've tried to go out and like meet people, and maybe I just come off as weird or something. But what I wanted to do without sounding like I've got all the answers, but I do have a lot of knowledge. I've spent my whole life like doing everything everything I've learned. I wanted to just like do as much as I could for the community, like help people put out more videos, build their own studio at their house, learn to fix their own, whatever the fuck it was. I wanted to just
kind of help
build the town up. Not saying it needs it or that I have some sort of magic touch, but my idea was like, you don't know how to record? I want to teach you every fucking thing I know. I'm not going to gatekeep it so you take my spot. Like, I want to tell you everything. That's what I want to do. And I feel like I didn't get as much done as I wanted to.
That's all right, though. I mean,
I wanted to do more.
What's the quote? Like, you shoot for the moon, you land in the stars, or some shit like that. But I mean, how like
You shoot for the moon.
you still hit some, and I mean, damn. I mean, there's been people that have been here. Not to call anybody out, but there's a lot of us have been here forever and haven't done shit. So,
Yeah.
So I mean, you've done a lot of cool things, So
Yeah, I want people to. What I want is for people to start putting stuff out. There's a lot of bands I've seen that they don't have any. They have stuff. They have the means to make an album, to make a track, to put out a music video, to have a good Facebook page, to be more than just like.
What they're missing is they're playing the songs and they might be playing some shows, but that's it. They don't have any coverage or any like things to go back to and revisit, or like anything to share.
Yeah.
Any content, I guess.
Content, yeah.
Whether that's videos or social media
or pictures. I did Sancho in the side piece, and I'm relatively affordable. Photos. Like, I did Sancho in the side piece, and they got some nice photos, and like that goes a long way. They even like split it out to have their own for their personal solo projects. I took individual pictures of them, but like that ups your game just having a nice picture instead of like a grainy photo that someone took
on a phone that's cropped in
on a phone in the crowd just randomly or something. That's what.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right.
Like spend a.
I think what it boils down to is you just saw the potential that like a place You're like, a lot of these people have potential, but they're just kind of not really. I'm not trying to sell them short, but they have, which is a compliment. They have potential.
Yeah, there's a lot of great
And it's
musicians
like,
and stuff.
a good
here.
photo and, cool video or like a post here and there. Just something, if they had something backing them a little bit, they'd go further.
Yeah, not saying you want to leave the town, but get out,
Yeah.
make some money doing it. I hate that music is kind of treated as like if you want to be a doctor, they're like, great, here's a school to go to, I guarantee this, and then music's kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like, grow up, man. I mean,
Grow
like,
up, stop being a kid.
Like, that's cool and all, but like, it's not really feasible.
But I mean, if you build a big enough community of musicians, like you can start.
And you're like, it is though. I mean, look at all there's lots of people look at all the careers in industry, and a lot of it, like we were saying, goes into production. It's not just performance and being in
There's so much.
a lot
more.
of it's behind the scenes or just related to it, like not necessarily behind the scenes, but in the periphery, the peripheral.
I watched I saw someone I know was watching a video on their phone, and this one, it kind of clicked on me, and they started tearing up listening to a song about something, and I was like, oh, and that, I was like, why is that kind of looked at as like not a meaningful thing? Like, you're crying over a song.
Yeah.
Like, this is like moving you.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not looked at as favorable as something else, like why can't it be
It should be, and it is
a respectable thing? Not that saying it's not respectable, but more respectable. Like, why can't why can't my son want to be a musician, and I've got to be like, well, what do you really want to do?
Yeah.
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 I wish it was different. Not saying I could change that, but maybe there's like, if more people were doing stuff, there could be more opportunities for people to do stuff.
Well, because I think it's sad, and it's the truth, that because it's like, well, what do you do, or what do you want to do, or well, what does he do? It always comes back to like, oh, that's for work, basically. And well, why do we work? For money. It's like everything's about money. And you're like, it's not like, I mean, maybe what you're going to do, maybe you're going to be a musician, and that may or may not be like your career or your bread and butter or whatever,
Yeah.
but that's still like who you are.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like, that's worth pursuing, and if you can make it happen. But it's great to try to maybe do it for real, but like for real as far as like income or something. But then again, once it's tainted and it turns into a job, then it's like,
Then you're like, I'm a DJ at a wedding, and I don't like being a DJ.
Exactly.
That it pays money. Yeah.
so you're chasing the money rather than the passion. So it's like, I don't know, it's balance, harmony, all that stuff is important, But I
Yeah.
think the key to a good life, or like an ideal life, is not in the extremes. It's like, it's in the harmony
Yeah.
of the elements of your life playing together, like a good relationship and a job that I can tolerate and enough money that gets me by, but I still have time for music. And like, if all those balance where
Yeah.
it's balance and harmony, where the things play together, where like people that are on the extremes, it's like maybe they get to do music for a living, but like their relationships are shit, or
yeah.
or like they have all kinds of money, but like, I mean, I don't know.
Dude,
like,
that's what I started thinking about. Well, I'm talking about like stand-ups. What do you do? Like, I'm a famous stand-up now. Well, I perform Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night across the country. That means every Thursday I have to get on an airplane. That's going to take 8 hours no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Like, from driving there, flying somewhere, getting off of the thing, and then like think about doing that every night to be a successful like stand-up. And even like a musician, I'm on a bus all day for 6 months out of the year.
that's the thing. There's someone said like, choose your set of problems, basically, or not necessarily problems, but yeah, like it's choose your pain. It's like, well, what kind
Choose your hard,
of
yeah.
suffering do you want to do? Because it's like, that dude that wrote that book, Mark Manson, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's a good book.
Sounds cool.
I listened to the audiobook. But that's one of his chapters, is something like choose your struggle, basically. And he talked about being a musician and how he wanted to be a guitar player and how he dreamed about being the sweet noodly fingers guy on stage. And
Yeah.
then he realized, he's like, I guess I just didn't really realize I didn't like dragging a guitar amp around and bumming rides from my friends and like being broke and like showing up to practice and then putting in all these hours. He's like, if I really wanted it, I would have enjoyed all that shit too. But
Oh, look at you.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's like I used to joke around like doing the band thing. It's like, yeah, well, we don't really get paid to play. We get paid to like move speakers and wrap up cables and stuff, and to spend all this time preparing and then breaking down. That's like where the little bit of payment comes from. But I mean, you get paid with the gratitude of like, this is our moment, and like we're nailing the song, and I mean, it's priceless. Like having those moments. Like I wish I could have seen the good old days while we were living them. I always took moments to realize like, this is one of those eras in my life. Like we're doing this. We're here. It's a moment.
Yeah.
So I never like.
That's a good way to look at it.
Never got sour about it, and I did recognize like some of those good nights that we've had and stuff. And,
yeah.
But you got to choose like the set of problems you want. Like if you're gonna be a musician, it's
my problem is I'm too bored.
There's gonna be a lot of work involved too, and a lot of struggle and criticism and a lot of dead ends and shit. But the reward is worth it. The art, like the art always speaks for itself. True, pure art.
Actual art,
like of human. Like this is of some, and you can tell, and it rises to the top. It's like distilling the finest.
Yeah.
The bullshit sinks to the bottom, and you're left with what's
this
good.
will linger a little longer, and all the other stuff kind of dies off. Yeah.
So I think if it's true and if it's from the heart, it's like it's gonna rise. I think so. I really do.
That's good. That's a new T-shirt. If it's true, that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's deep and philosophical.
Yeah, I went off on a tangent there.
It's deep and philosophical, which is good. I don't know. I'd like. I did it. You know what? I did do it. That's what I did full time here. I did music full time. I had the store. I worked at the base, but that was video stuff, which kind of goes into what I like doing, the whole production and back end of things. So yeah, I got to do that.
So like on base, you did marketing and video and social media and stuff, and then you did the store, which is all music, a little bit of retail, but it's all love. It's all just retail's a side effect of what you were really doing.
Yeah,
which is cultivating a scene and sharing stuff with people
and repairing guitars. I came in with like really no knowledge and just forced myself to learn how to do it, and I got pretty good at it. I think
nice.
I think people trusted me. I had a lot of repeat customers and stuff. So that was a good thing to learn. That was a lot of my income too. Repair and lessons.
Yep,
lessons was really cool and fun. Like I had one of my students sent me. He came in, had no idea how to play drums, and I was like, our lessons are stopped, and he was preparing for a talent show to play drums, and his dad sent me a video of him playing, and I was like, I had some play in him learning how to drums, me teaching him how to do that.
Nice, cool.
He did like a whole, like when he got done, he's like stood up, and I was like, dude, when you get done, stand up and just do like a mic drop, and he did that.
Sick.
Everybody in the crowd was like, oh, I was like, dude, that's cool.
Dope. So you helped him along the way.
Yeah, that was fun. Had a good time here.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then so the radio station, and then all playing out all those. So everything you did, a lot of it was of music. So it's like you did music the whole time you were here.
Yeah. There's something to do with music. Bass was more like video, which is I'm really passionate about photography. That's like one of my other main things. My dad was a photographer, so photography turned into video.
Yeah, of course.
Just from having it worked, and then that's where I did a lot of that at the base and stuff, and take pictures of events and stuff. I got some really good photos.
I think it's all related too. Like it's a
creative thing. I got to take pictures of Hoobastank and
super dope.
Hoobastank and what was it? The other band, the Christian band.
Oh yeah, the bass. I didn't go. But,
what are they called?
It's another one of those. What is it when you can't remember?
Presque-vous. It's not Saliva. It was
POD.
No, they sing Monster. Feel like a monster.
3 Days Grace.
No. They're.
The fuck.
You know what I'm talking about? It's got a girl drummer and a girl bassist or something.
Is it not Pop Evil?
And they sang.
Damn it.
Jesus. Anyways, I got to like hang out with them in the back and
That's
when they
cool.
meet and greet and like actually get to like I had a pass to like get up and take pictures. I got some really good pictures of them and like some other bands like Runaway June. They came and played. So I got to do a lot of that stuff too.
It's kind of funny if you show up. My mom used to say that, like, those who show up decide or something, like, and like those who just show up, kind of like if you just put your name in the hat, like, you just probably sometimes you just have a better chance of getting selected because no one else puts their name in the hat.
Yeah,
and like
I'll do it.
This one guy that she knew, she was real into concerts and metal and all kinds of stuff, and would go to lots of shows and even in the big cities and everything. But this one dude would always. She knew this guy, and he was a photographer, and he'd show up to all the shows and take photos.
Uh-huh.
And eventually, he just got the ins. Like, they just took him in, and were like... Oh, they didn't take him in, but they allowed him to, like, take photos. And eventually, he got, like, you know, past the little barricade and the bouncers and stuff, and was able to get close-ups of the bands. And then started getting... You know, people were like, dude, that guy's sick. His photos are sick. And he just kind of, like, got himself into the industry... somewhat by just being there.
Being there?
Being a guy with a camera, being there, you know? And there's so much of life that's like that when you're just the guy that's there, not necessarily with just a camera, but like you're just there and you're like, I'm doing the thing. I didn't really ask anybody. No one really told me. I don't know if the end, like...
No one asked them, like, one day, like, a speaker falls over and like, hey, can you pick that up? And you're like, yeah.
You're just there.
And they're like, well, do you want to keep picking speakers up or something? You know, that's a stupid analogy, but
I think there's a lot of that by proximity or just being there.
Yeah.
You can kind of be perceived as annoying if you're like just there all the time, like just being annoying, but just don't be annoying, but be there, but offer something.
Yeah.
And then like it'll just maybe get you in somewhere.
It's like, hey man, our photographer canceled.
Yeah.
You want to take? You're here.
You're here.
Skillet.
Skillet. It
was Skillet. That's what I was looking up. I wasn't like talking. I was like, I have to.
What the fuck was
can't
that band?
do another. Polychorus. No. Jesus.
Skillet. Oh, the effect.
The effect. I'll never remember it. As soon as I get in my car, I'll be like, that's what it was.
You'll have to text me later. Damn it! I realize what
it's this. But yeah. Skillet.
Just send me a one-word text. Just the effect.
The effect name. Yeah.
So what's next with Mississippi? You're going back to Mississippi?
Yes, going back to Mississippi. Mississippi.
Heading on back down there to Mississippi.
Mississippi. Yeah, headed back there. We got a house. Our family lives there.
Just back home, your roots.
Everybody. That's where I was for my entire. Well, I lived in New Orleans for a little while, but my whole life I lived there. I know everybody. You know.
Sick.
My whole family's there. My wife's whole family's there. Probably get a job in marketing or something. And I probably won't do a store. Like this town was small enough to where I could function and have one. But back home we've got 2 large music stores. Like
there's not really a hole in the market for one.
Yeah, it would be kind of pointless for me to try to compete. What am I going to do? Like I can't drop $500,000 and then you're just doing the Walgreens CVS thing where it's like you're just both people are losing money, you know? And one of the stores Guitar Center bought, and it's not Guitar Center, but they call it something else.
Okay.
So you don't think it's Guitar Center?
Interesting.
You know how like Comcast turned to Xfinity?
Yeah.
Because they got such bad reviews.
Ah.
They're like, it's not Comcast.
The parent company just changed the name.
They just changed the name so people would think it's something. And I think that they call it something music, but they're big and they rent. They're too big. I might do guitar repairs or something. I don't know. This town has like the thing about this town. It might seem small, but there are a lot of opportunities. A ton of opportunities if somebody would just go out and do it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of opportunities for, you know, to be a really good photography is really hard nowadays. If you don't believe me, next time someone goes, is there a photographer in town? 75 people go, I'm a photographer. I'll do it for free. I'm building my portfolio. It's hard to get actual work.
Legit work that pays.
Yeah. But like video work, you know, music repair. When I got here, there's nobody to fix my guitar. I had to get one of my guitars broke, and I was like, nobody did it. Like there's tons of like
little holes in the market.
In the markets, there's nothing here, you know.
Yeah.
Even like little venues.
Yeah, skate shop, all the stuff.
Like a skate shop could, you know. Of course, you're not going to be like Walmart selling skateboards, but you could, make enough to stay open.
Shit, I would love to. And it's like we were talking about. You could do anything, but not everything. It's like, man, if I had all the time in the world, I think a little shop that would be sick would be like a skate shop with some music stuff, like kind of like a culture shop, so to say. Where it's like a little bit of like everything. Alamo kind of needs a little bit of everything.
Just sell vapes.
Yeah,
dude, I thought about it.
Yeah,
dude, I thought about just getting vapes and just being like, I'm a music store that has vapes on this side of the store.
Yep.
Because if you go to any vape shop, there's just 1,000 people in there all the time, and they're just packed.
Oh my god,
they're just packed, dude.
That's fucking hilarious.
Just put some vapes in there. But yeah, I mean,
that's what Alamo needs: another vape shop, couple more Dollar Generals, couple more dispensaries, and a few more churches.
That's it. That's all you need. But I mean, like somebody could open up another little music shop, and I think I did it the right way. I kind of feel like I wish I would have done more, like, or had better, like, longer hours. But the way I did it, I got money. I left with money. I didn't
fit the. I mean, because a lot of times you're just sitting there too for too long, just downtime. So it's like
when I first started, I was open 6 days a week, and I was open like, I'd be there from like 11 to 6 or 7 at night. And I just sat there.
Yeah.
And then I'd go in from like 4 to 7 when I worked at the base, and I'd be there. And like, I was like, it got to the point where I was just like live streaming, be like, somebody come up here.
Yeah. That's what we did with our shop, to our skate shop. We were just kind of, eventually we cut the hours down, and we were like, if you could just message us too, and we can meet you there and that kind of stuff. Because it's such a small town. You're like, I'm not there, but you need something, like, I'll be right there.
Yeah, I would do that. It'd be like if, like on Christmas Eve, some guys like, my family members are in town or something, and I got this new guitar, I need some strings. I was like, I'll meet you up there.
Gotcha, dude, real quick. Yeah.
I live 5 minutes. So I would do that all the time. Somebody's like, I need some sticks. I was like, I'm not open, but I'll just meet you up there real quick if you need the stuff. That way I don't have to just sit there and wait. But, being open, that was my biggest complaint, was like, I can't ever catch you when you're open.
Yeah.
Nobody has a southern accent here, but I can't catch you when you're open.
Can't catch you when you're open down there.
So, but
they're in the Grenada.
Down there in the Grenada shopping center.
Shopping
for them strings and sticks. But, yeah.
Well, heck yeah, man. We'll stay in touch, at least on the social media.
So, yeah, I'll be there. If you're ever in Mississippi, I would say I might come back here, but I can't think of a reason why I would. I have no family here. Like, I don't know why I'd come back.
Yeah, it's unlikely,
not
which
that
is
I don't
unfortunate.
Want to, but I just.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Unless somebody's like, hey, I'll fly you out to play a show, but I don't think 575 is going to fly me out to play a show out here.
Yeah. Who knows? Alamo does have a strange gravity. You might get sucked back somehow.
We got sucked here in the first place.
You might get sucked back. It would not surprise me. I mean, I hope it's natural and that you don't, if that's not what your plan is.
Yeah.
But, like, if it happens, it might.
My friend keeps saying it's like the land of entrapment.
Yeah.
Like, they'll get you, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Something about this place just keeps people. But, yeah, man.
But, yeah, if you're ever in Mississippi.
Yeah, same with me. I do have a friend who grew up here, who's in Nashville area.
Yeah, that's like,
which isn't too far.
Yeah, but it's still kind of like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Away. Well, I guess if you're ever in New Orleans,
because I would like to do a trip that's like different, like a skate tour, like, or something, just through the South or something different.
Yeah, we
That'd
got
be
skate
sick.
parks and stuff there. But New Orleans is close. If you're ever in New Orleans. I'm like 2 hours from New Orleans.
Well, that'd be cool because. Yeah, we've gone to New Orleans twice now and plan on going back.
Yeah, meet up or something. I'm right up the road.
Hell yeah.
Relatively. It's closer than Albuquerque.
2 hours-ish from New Orleans?
Yeah.
Dope. What's the town or area?
Hattiesburg. Well, it's a smaller town outside of, but Hattiesburg's like the main big city there.
When I was in New Orleans, we did a ferry ride on the Mississippi River, and I just imagined my pin on the map. I was like, I just didn't think, like, yesterday I was in the desert, and today I'm like on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
It's just a trip. But yeah, it's a
Mississippi River, yeah.
Pretty cool place. Is there a good music scene? Like, as far as going out and
in Hattiesburg, it's like it's not like there's not like giant bands that come through, but like if I like doing the cover thing for sure, I could play it, I was saying I could, like if I could get booked, I could play 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
Because all the restaurants started doing that. So now you can play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at a restaurant. Then it's a college town. So there's a big university there. So there's like
Bars.
15 bars. And that's just in Hattiesburg. And then in Petal, there's places. And then Laurel has a TV show that they shoot there, a HGTV show called Hometown.
Nice.
That's like where I grew up, was hometown. That's my hometown. Like, but they shoot a TV show there, and once they started shooting there, it turned into like a tourist. Like it's like crazy. Like I grew up in like empty streets, and now there's like Bentleys driving by, and people are like renting out. The whole town is booming.
Damn.
Like thriving. The downtown area. There's just shops.
And what is it? Hattiesburg?
That's Laurel.
Laurel.
Where that one is, and they're only like 8th season or something. They're still going. Like
Oh shit.
It blew the town up. Like
And that's like the town next to yours?
yeah, it's like where I grew up in Laurel. That's where like I grew up, and Hattiesburg's like kind of like Cruces.
Cruces.
So it's like Laurel would be like Alamo, and then Hattiesburg's like Cruces. So it's like the bigger town
Okay.
up the road, about 45 minutes.
Nice.
So there's a lot of stuff to do there. Back home, it was harder because it was harder to get in, but I feel like here I got a lot more opportunities to like
Jump on it quick.
to jump on stuff,
Yeah.
So maybe when I get back, I have more. I've played a bunch more solo.
You got a
shows.
bunch more experience.
Yeah, I've done the radio now, because like back like here, not saying it was easy to just get on the radio, but like there was more of a chance of just someone that doesn't have experience to get on the radio. Now I have 3 years of experience on the radio, so when I go back home, back then they wouldn't listen. They'd be like, "You can't be on the radio. Like, what do you
have got?
Degree?
Yeah.
You've never done anything." Now I have 3 years of experience, so
Nice.
hopefully that'll help.
It will.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah, it will.
if I can get on one.
So maybe go home and do some radio and do some more live music. Maybe put a little studio together at home or something.
Yeah, I'll probably build a studio. I think I'm going to try to separate the things. I think my problem was I'm trying to be an artist and a recording myself, and I might just be like an artist and make my music, and just let someone else do my videos, someone else do my recording, and then whenever I do recording and stuff, I'm not doing any of my own stuff.
Interesting. Yeah,
I
yeah,
might
cool.
separate that out. I think that's maybe a hang up I have.
That way you can focus on the art part
Yes.
and not like the production.
Because I'm either going, all right, I'm trying to sing this part, but I'm worried about the computer.
And at the same time, maybe you can, like you were talking about, maybe help other people with production.
Yeah.
So like you can get your production fix helping other people with their projects.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you do your project, you could be like, do you have a friend or anybody else that's like another
Yeah. So maybe like some of my friends, because now like it's
other studio guys?
other studio guys. There's a lot of that,
Yeah.
So
Like, dude, come over here and get me out of my own head because
Yeah, like-
I can't be the producer.
like
I
you
mean,
need some practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I'll sing, because sometimes like I just want to practice.
you come over and I'll do your demo and then I'll come over and then you do my demo.
We'll just switch back and forth. Yeah, that's a great idea.
It'd actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would actually, damn. Too bad we're just realizing this because we could do that, you and me. I could be like, dude, you make my demo and be my producer and I won't do shit with the, and then like the same for you.
Yeah.
And that way it'd be like,
That's what I'm saying.
you're probably better at the back end of like the production. I don't have, my shit's pretty, I don't know. I don't know a lot
But I mean,
about
it might
but
be that. It might. That's what I'm saying. Like
maybe that's what you need though. Mine is just like chop and paste,
Just
like skateboard editing. Just don't click, like,
yeah. That's the thing. Like if I can get away from it, like when I can't record myself and mix and produce it and
It's hard
and
to
do
do
the
it
video
all.
for it all. Like I'm gonna have to start outsourcing
yeah.
and just do one thing at a time and like let my music be my music and trust. Because I'm always like, I bet I could do that better than this person. And then I'm like, who the fuck? What are you doing? What am I doing? Like, they're probably better than me. I'm just trying to like control it.
Yeah.
I want to control how I mix the song, but maybe that's my problem.
Letting it go. Or at least trying some different versions. Like you could always remix and have like you could have your stems or something and remix it yourself later, like if you really wanted to or something. But
I just don't want to touch. It's like if I record again, I don't want to touch. I want to be like, is this on?
yeah,
is this on? Can I record? I don't want to be going like, all right, can you go back? Like, no, you just
have it all worked out.
Someone else run the board and mix it and just like, let me know when it's done. I'll tell you if I like it or not. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't, you know? Maybe I'm lying.
But you're definitely going to pursue some originals?
Yeah, I think I've got some. Like, I have a bunch, and I've always just been like, these songs suck, I won't do them. But getting to the point where, like,
if you don't do them now,
might as well just put them out. What's going to happen? They'll just be on the internet. I can watch them later.
Who cares? It's kind of documenting a section of time in your life, snapshot, like a photograph. Some of them are cringy. Think about all your like cheesy school photos. I had like my stupid spiked hair and shit back in the day. I thought it was cool, stupid ass spiked hair. But you're like, it's cringy as fuck. But it's like it's a snapshot of your life, and that's who I was at that time. But like, so your songs, it's not as cringy as a spiky haired fucking seventh grade photo.
I don't know, man.
But it's cool being like, because I thought about that with my YouTube channel. Like some of the shit's like. It's probably going to be a little cringy later, but I'm like, I don't care.
Your YouTube channel is good. You need to keep, like, just putting stuff out.
I know, man. I mean, thank you for the compliment, but I agree with you. I do need to keep, like, just keep it going.
Like, you've got all the stuff to, like, you could be, like, the hub of, like, the scene here, if that's what you want to do. Like, you could be the guy that, like, everybody's like, well, who's on, who's on tonight? What band? Have the bands on, record them, stuff like that, Build it to where it's like it's real segregated, I think, sometimes here.
It is, yeah. Cultivate it a little more.
Who's who, But you've got the setup. You're the guy in town that's got the stuff and the skills to do it all,
Got the goods, man. No, I appreciate it, though.
You need, like a podcast a week.
I know. Fuck. I was
every other week.
So I'll go through these spurts of like I'll be like bam, 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 and then like I'll just like a long time goes
like
by.
6 months go by, and you're like, oh yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, and we all have stuff that comes up. I've had a lot come up recently, for a while, and so it's kind of hard to get going again. But I think
in the skate thing.
I know.
It's insane.
I know.
It's insane that's just like outside your fucking bedroom.
I know.
You walk out of your kitchen and there's a skate park and a podcast studio.
I know. It's fucking nuts.
Get out there and do some shit, man.
You're right, man. I'm glad that like, the universe is sometimes it's just like your own reflection. Like, you know, and we kind of are like one big giant, not to get all existential, but it's all one being and we're just reflections of the same.
Yeah.
And it's like right now it's like talking to you, but it's like a mirror, it's like you're part of the, like the universe communicates to you in mysterious ways or whatever, but sometimes it's direct and it's almost like the universe through you is telling me like, Pat, like get your shit together, like
make more podcasts.
What are you doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing here? Yeah.
No, it's encouraging though, like it is.
Yeah, you need to do that. Just keep making stuff.
I think you're right, because why would I have done all this so far?
Yeah.
I mean, not like even if it all ended now, it would still be cool and it was worth doing and wasn't a waste.
Yeah.
But what I could do, the potential, it's like
the potential. Yeah.
It's like David Goggins. He's like, yeah, man, we're all living at like 40% of your true capability. Like when you think you're at 100%, there's like 60% more you could have done with your life. Like,
yeah.
Like right now you're at 40%.
Jeez.
So we're fucking slackers.
I am for sure.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Gotta step up our game, people.
Except we get to start calling people, be like, come on the show. The shows are great. It's like a little news network. What's going on?
You just, with these things, you got to prioritize it. It's like there's another, there's a book called The War of Art. There's another one called The Art of War, but then we get mixed up. But this one's The War of Art.
Okay.
And it's by Stephen Pressfield, and it's like about the resistance, this invisible force that stops you from doing your work as a professional. See, now when you have a job, you show up. Like Like most of the time.
Like you're scared to get in trouble or
like
something.
yeah, you're gonna
like
get fired if you don't. Like when school starts back up again, and like I signed the contract, like I gotta be there, like July 31st or whatever. That's the date that I start. Like I have to show up, but like you have to treat your own work. Like if you want it to be professional, you have to like show up for yourself, basically.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're like, well, I booked a podcast. Like I gotta, like it's gonna be Thursday at fucking 6 p.m. or whatever, and you gotta show up. Like at least we made this happen. We were like Wednesday, you know. Originally it was 7. I was like, now it's 8. But,
Yeah.
But like it's like, all right, that's why it's happening. It's because it's like we scheduled it. We're here. It's there.
Write it down on a fucking piece of paper.
I mean, you can book it all out, but it's like with your music or whatever, you're like, okay, by like this year, I got to release some songs, and even more specific. The more you can narrow it down, like it's when it's all arbitrary. Like, oh, I'm gonna release some songs. You're like,
I'm gonna do this.
Okay, like you're gonna release some songs. Like you know, you got to be like, I don't know.
It's not like this is important. If anything else happens, then I'll push it off. If anything I gotta someone asked me to go eat dinner tonight, I'll just do that. And you're like, because you're like, this isn't important. It's just a podcast,
right?
It's just a song.
It's just my studio time or whatever.
Yeah, and you'll kind of like, if anything pops up, you're like, that's more important. This is an important thing. I guess if you treat it like a job, like, I gotta do it.
You're like, dude, I'm at work till 5. Like, I mean, we can hang out later, but I'll see you after 5.
Yeah,
so like if you're in the studio, you're like, no, dude, like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I took those off for studio days. Like, maybe we could chill Saturday or Friday. Friday at 6, but like during the day, I'm in the studio. Like, you can come by and smoke a cig with me on break or something. But have a cup of coffee. But I'm gonna be in there fucking tracking riffs. You know.
So yeah, I'm at work. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
I mean, yeah, as far as actually making goals happen, you know.
I used to put when I was doing my podcast, I would do 2 a week. I'd do a Wednesday and a Sunday, and put one out Wednesday and Sunday. So, but I had a board where I would call in everybody, be like, please be on my podcast.
Yes.
Everybody I could, and I would write it down on the board and be like, these days. And I'd tell my wife, I'd be like, these days, at this time, I'm going to be upstairs doing the podcast, and just like it was on the board, everybody saw it, and it worked.
It worked because you're like, that's like a little obligation.
It was like a thing. I was like, it's there on the thing. And then especially if you like commit with somebody else, they're like, well, I can't cancel on these guys. We've already committed to.
They are cleared out their schedule and they're looking forward to it. And so am I. And I can't just bail on them.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah.
Jeez. We should have met earlier.
I know.
Jesus.
God
I could
damn
have
it.
done this whole thing and then.
Let's rewind.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Because we could have just built like a super podcast studio.
I know.
I got like a bucket,
not to mention just songs and just whatever videos and just bullshit content.
One of the ideas I liked, what I was going to do back home at mine is have like a band on and have them mic'd up with their instruments too, and let them do it like a set.
That'd be sick.
And it's easy. You can do it. You know, you got enough equipment to do it. Like have the drummer and the guitarist, and you can just kind of let them do a live set, mic'd up and recorded well, and then you can even go back and polish it up afterwards. If you need to.
Keith and I did a guitar one time when we were playing guitar and discussing like techniques and stuff and going back and forth, but we didn't end up putting it out. We were gonna redo it.
Yeah.
I should have just put it out.
Yeah.
There's like 2 podcasts that never actually went, and they were both good enough. I should have just put them out. But we were talking a bunch of shit. He was like, I don't know if it would have been fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But I should have just put it out there. But it was kind of cool. But I want to do that again. Where it's kind of like what you're talking about. Where like there's this one girl I know. She's like a guitar player, a singer, and like it'd be cool to have her on, talk to her.
Yeah.
But then also like have her perform a little bit.
Yeah, and mic it up well, make it sound good.
Make it sound great. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So that'd be way cool.
I'm going to say this. I have one recommendation for you.
Yes.
And this is out of respect. I want you to upgrade your studio monitors, please.
Yeah. I'm like, what is he going to say? Yes.
Out of all the stuff, I just want to say.
Yeah.
You've got, TH30, badass amps. you've got to upgrade
I know.
the studio
I
monitors,
know. My
guy.
friends too. My two guys that I hang out with a lot. They're like, "Dude, the fuck are you doing? Get you a subwoofer and like some fucking." But it's just It's just.
I'm sure they're fine.
They work.
And I'm more just joking. That's just more of a joke. But
It is funny. I'm glad you went there.
It's like you got this badass board, everything's mic'd up, and then like what are those 2-inch?
Fucking Elises, yeah.
Like 2-inch woofers?
Yeah, they're not great at all.
Get you some.
They're just old. They worked for a time, but they're old.
Upgrade them things, dog.
I want to get them fucking fancy NS10.
NS10s?
What are they called? Avantone or whatever?
The Vontone or CLAs.
CLAs.
Chris Lord Algae.
Those are the ones.
Yeah.
Those fancy wood ones. $900 fucking bucks. Someone maybe could subscribe and donate to the.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Patreon, it's only $900.
Yeah.
So just need one person to sign up
Yeah, $900.
at $900.
Because those were like $99.
Yeah.
But that was like 12 years ago or something. I've had those forever.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
I'm at least gonna get the little Presonus like Aris like 4.5s or.
Those are fine.
Something.
I have those are in my studio right now at my house, and I've used
I'm
them
at
for
least gonna get those
10 years.
but I would
yeah.
like to get those ones we looked at.
You can look at the Kali audio stuff. KALI.
Okay.
That's what my big mains are. They're really good.
All those, yeah, the big ones. Okay.
Those are 8s, but you can get like 6s and stuff.
Because I don't even think in this small room I
You
don't
don't
even
need
want big speakers. Just some decent mid size.
something in a 6.
Yeah.
6 or something, or those NS10s would be perfect.
I think I'm gonna get the NS10s. I think I'm just gonna say fuck it and
Just
go.
get it. Look, just be reminded when you start listening to them, you'll be like,
They're gonna suck.
this sucks.
It's gonna suck.
You're like, this music's everything, but listen to a bunch of like music sounds good.
Well, I mean, if you're using them for mixing, you're not using them. So, like, I'll get some cool, nice ones that sound eventually. I'm like not gonna go out and spend a bunch of money right away that I don't have credit line on Sweetwater.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get
yeah.
into debt. But yeah, NS10s for mixing and like just.
But listen to the songs that you know well, like your favorite songs on those, so you know what those sound like.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, okay.
Here's what I'm looking for.
Here's how like a good like put on a Katy Perry or a Taylor Swift and listen through NS10s. Dude, I do that all the time. Like I don't have the NS10s, but I have the emulation for my headphones or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll put it on and listen to like
What you're going for.
like stuff I've been like listening to recently. I'll be like, oh, the kick drum isn't as low as it sounds because there's a sub doing something weird. The kick really is sitting up here.
There you go.
Or the bass is not low. It's the kick drum adding all the low end, and they're like, you wouldn't notice that with a sub because it all just sounds like a big thump
Yeah.
or something.
It makes sense.
Or like the vocals sit really way louder than you think, or way quieter, and you start to hear all those parts because you're hearing the meat of the music.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, it'll change your mind. Start with that little trick though.
Yeah, I'll start there.
Yeah, and you'll be like,
And then I'll get those fancy ass wood CLAs.
yeah, dude,
And then,
those will look good.
yeah, they will look good.
It'll match your board.
Yeah.
Look sweet.
It'll look real sweet from
Real
Sweetwater.
Sexy Sweetwater CLAs 7 6s built-ins amplifiers.
Well, shit. Thanks so much for coming
So,
by.
yeah, no problems. Yeah, I wish we would have met earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we met. I met you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just didn't bro down early
Yeah.
enough. Should have broed down sooner, but.
That's on me. I'm bad at
Nah,
it.
me too. Me too. I've been
I'm
out
bad
of the
at
loop.
reaching out and
Been out of the loop. I mean,
I'm bad at being like, hey, do you want to hang out? Like I've always just been weird about that.
yeah. My friend has discussed this concept of time blindness, and I don't have time blindness, but time goes by really fast sometimes, and you're like, what the fuck? Where is time going? Like,
Yeah.
It was just Monday. Now it's Monday again. Now it's Friday.
Yeah, I feel like it just moved here. Kind of.
It's just crazy to where I'm like, I need to stop letting that get to me, though. I just need to prioritize the day and prioritize people a little bit more because I just get so into my own world, and then the day disappears, and then I'm like, I feel like a lot of people are like, I haven't seen you in a while, I haven't talked to you in a while, and it's like, it must be a me thing. You know, I'm like, I gotta fix that.
I'm the problem.
I'm the problem. Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
It's it's like, what's wrong with everybody? Why does everybody say the same thing about me?
I'm like, I'm the one who's distant, you know, even though I'm right here. We're all in this small ass little town, and yet we're so far away. You're like, what are we doing? What
are we
doing?
doing? Yes. We need to put that up somewhere. Right
Yes.
Here. What are you doing?
I'm gonna get one of those little sign. What are we doing? Or shirts or something, merch. What are we doing? Stickers.
What are we doing? Hey, you can have that. You know, podcast blows up.
Yeah.
And then there's like a catchphrase. What are we doing?
What are we doing? It's Orange Curb. Speaking of some stickers, let me give you a couple of these for just some stuff wherever you feel like they need to be stuck.
Yeah, you've got great merch, dude. You're really good at that.
It's hard to do because it's like it's expensive, and then you end up with a bunch, and then you're like, but it's worth it.
This is genius. The skateboards are all great. All the stickers and shit I see around your place are all good stuff.
Yeah, man. I need to.
Like, this is great. This is a great sticker.
That's like the Love Park in Philly, which was an iconic skate plaza, and then Washington Park is this, which is in the reflection of my old dog Shades, and the dog I got from some punk rocker kid underneath the tree at the park. Actually, my friend Eric took him, and Eric's mom wouldn't let him have him, and then we ended up taking him home, and my mom was like, "We're gonna keep that fucking dog," and she was so adamant about that dog, and because she knew I wanted him, but I wouldn't ask for him because I was a punk ass teenager, and I was like, I don't know, whatever, you know, he's just a dog or whatever. But I really loved him. But he became my dog Chopper, and then those shades were my friend Jeff, who was also from the park, skater kid. And there was these funny ass shades, and I put him on the dog one day and snapped a photo with my cheap ass like flip phone. I think it was the first ever cell phone I had.
Yeah,
flip phone, and I just got the right snap of him. And then the original reflection was my backyard where I used to live, but my brother photoshopped the park in there because I got the dog from the park and my friend's shades from the park. It's like there's just so much. Like that one photo is like
just so much shit in it.
It's just everything to me. I'm like that fucking thing is like
I would have never even guessed any of that stuff.
So full circle.
That's crazy.
I need to get more chop stickers. I do have one. I'm gonna give you one. I have more than one, but I have one available on that shelf right there that I'm gonna make sure you walk away with. That way you not only have the curb love, but you have a chop dog.
Hell yeah.
Chop dogs and hot sauce for life.
Boy.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for coming by. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
Chat on the socials, and when we're gonna do another Alamo like collab shred thing, and definitely gonna send you the link, and you can record. And
I'll send one in for sure.
You're one of the few guys I know that can like do like a video of himself and an audio
at the same time,
and then send it over.
Yeah.
And, so that'll be great.
For sure, that'll be awesome. I'll still be here I might see you again before I leave. I'll still be here a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll make it a point. We'll get a beer or something before you dip.
Yeah. I was thinking I might do something, but I don't know. I don't know. I'll be around.
A little farewell or something.
Maybe. Something.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Right on, brother.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
One and done. All day, every day. Thanks for coming by.
It's about to blow up.